What's up? What's up? Friday night, March Madness. We here. This is the Sports Kales Wine and Brew crew. I'm Kales Diva. We got Tony D. We got Bookie Troy. I know, listen, I know Bookie Troy. I know this is his life. His life is life. So we going to have him. He's the helm tonight. He's taking the mic. So, hey, I'm excited. I was at work and I said, this is the first time in about 4 years that I was at work. I've always taken off for March Madness, but I said it was cool. We watched a couple games while the kids were doing their testing, their quizzes, I call it, and I was chilling. So, Bookie Troy, how your week been? Because it's been about 2 weeks since we've been on the air. So, what's been up?
Just working and getting my tournament uh picks in and having fun watching the games.
Okay. I've been watching the women's.
The
Because if you
women's
did,
too.
yes, because if you didn't know, on the move with Sports Kales Media, we are now a national media outlet two times. So we are rolling to Dallas for the women's Final Four. Woo, woo! I'm so excited about that. So, hey, leading up to it, we're going to be making sure that we give you some women's collegiate stats, what's happening around the way. Right now, I'm watching the Mississippi State game. And it's a barn burner. They's going in against Creighton. It's 70-47. So I'm gonna let Bookie Troy take it away. But yes, we are
Break it
excited.
down.
So I'm in tune to the women's. I know our fellas on the panel, they gonna
Break it
making
down.
sure that the men are taken care of. But I'm rolling with the women because we're gonna be in Dallas.
You know
Dallas.
the food.
All right, Bookie Troy, it's all you. It's all you. So let's get this party started.
All right, let's start with the tournaments. I mean, because that's where we got to start at.
Yes.
So, and then we're going to head on to the NFL. Then we're going to head to the NBA.
Okay. Let's
So,
get it. Let's get it.
so as far as the tournaments, how's y'all brackets looking?
Ooh.
Did y'all fill out brackets?
I filled out a bracket. So mine is kind of like
Yes, I did.
mine's is
Low,
like kind of
you,
floppy. Mine's like lopsided. Because that
low,
Virginia, woo,
Lois,
that
what's your
took
bracket
a lot
looking
of
like?
people's brackets out. So how your bracket
So
looking?
on, okay, hold on. Let me pull up
What?
because we doing a challenge with the girls too, having them fill them out, and depending on who wins, they'll get like a little something for me and Reggie. So
Okay.
like one side, it's still alive, but like you
Okay.
said, Virginia, and then somebody else, I mean, on one
Arizona.
bracket, I done already, yeah, I on one bracket, I done already lost 5 Sweet 16 teams. So I'm down to 11 on one bracket, you
But
know.
the
So,
yeah.
but
But do
I
you
mean,
think the bracket is going fast? Do you think the bracket's going fast this year?
No, I think it's regular. I think it's
Oh, you
about the
think it's
same
regular?
how it
Okay.
usually is.
yeah.
My
I
bracket
also
was
filled
done
out a
at
women's.
eight.
I also filled out a women's bracket this year, so it'll be
My
interesting
bracket
to
was
see how it
done
goes.
at 8:55 last night. My bracket
You
was
said
done.
What? Your bracket's busted
Yeah,
for
my
the
bracket was
men's or the
busted at
world
eight
group?
fifty five last night.
What
Except,
game
I'm
took
sorry,
yours out?
I'm sorry, it's not busted, but you know what I mean.
Right.
I got I still got Houston, I still got Alabama, and I still
Okay.
got Duke, and I still got who else I had in the Final Four? I had somebody else in the Final Four that I'm missing right now. But
Okay.
yeah, all my Final Four teams are still alive, but still,
yeah.
it's I'm losing. I'm losing points as I go.
But that's the best part of this March Madness. You can never, you can never, you don't even know. Like it's like you think your teams are gonna be in it, and then when they still start playing, like they balling already. Like the girls, that's why I love the girls. They balling out already.
South Carolina gonna win that going like easy. It ain't
Easy,
That's
easy,
easy. Out of the men's and the women's, South Carolina is the number one seed out of both tournaments.
right?
they're going to win that and win that easy. Now, I would love to see them play Iowa because I want to see Caitlin Clark and Boston go up against each other. Was it Aisha Boston, right? Am I saying her name wrong?
Yeah.
What's her name? What's her name for South Carolina? Boston?
Yeah, Boston.
Yeah. Her and Caitlin Clark, I want to see them go at each other. So I hope they match up. But as far as the women's, I got Iowa and South Carolina in the championship game.
That's who I got. Yep. That's who I have. I'm excited because my alma mater is playing right now. Grand Canyon. They 6-10, but just to be able to see them. Yeah. I was excited.
I did a money line on them.
On Grand Canyon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every
year they have gotten listen, but Grand Canyon has gotten better every year. And to see them play at this level, like, wow. Like, because I graduated in 2016. So for these last 6 years, each year, the men's have gotten better and better and better. And they play in Gonzaga close. They only down 4. They play them really close. So it's anybody's game.
You never know.
So far,
yeah, you never know because they're playing on True TV. Huh?
Yeah. No, so far my women's bracket is doing better than my men's bracket. So far, I only have one game I didn't get right from the women that started. So
yeah, the men.
We'll see as it goes along.
South Carolina in the women's side, I got all day. As far as the men's side, I think I picked Houston to win everything.
Okay.
And I think I got them going up against UCLA. I could be wrong. UCLA is a slept-on team right now. Don't sleep on UCLA.
Hold on. Well, my bracket.
Let's see, I didn't choose the men.
I got Houston. And Alabama in the men's. With Alabama winning it this year. Because my top 4, I got Alabama. Well, I guess the top 8 have Alabama, Arizona, Houston, Texas, and then I had Xavier. I think Xavier in that bracket that they got a kind of a nice path. I don't know because they're gonna have to play that. Once they do, I think Xavier can be the top 8. It's when they play Texas. That's what I think is going to be.
I got a sidebar.
Who?
I got Alabama and Kansas.
Alabama shouldn't even be in the tournament.
Right.
And I ain't got to even go there to tell y'all why.
Yeah. We know.
So I didn't pick Alabama. And their player Brandon Miller, he's got a groin injury, so he's actually hurt. But Alabama shouldn't even be in the tournament, really. Honestly. Because of his
I get that, yeah.
Terrible.
I get that all day.
See, that's how we always side to the left, and that's why we be on here for 2 hours.
Right. And they have Alabama. Like I have Alabama in the top 4. I have Alabama, Purdue, Houston, and Kansas in my top 4. And if Alabama they get that far, it'll be them against Houston. And it's going to be a great game. I want to see them play. And I think it's because Alabama is trying to get away from the stigmatism of what happened. So that's why they're playing. They're going to have to play. And I think Purdue can also, too, beat Alabama.
Not extra security. Apparently, he's received threats.
Yeah.
Purdue.
It's going to be the tournament that they got them coming in is like, woo.
Purdue won't make it to the Final Four. I can guarantee that. Don't sleep on Duke. I don't even like to mention Duke. Y'all know how I am.
That's why I didn't mention them because I can't stand Duke.
That's like mentioning the Celtics. Don't sleep on Duke, even though I gotta say it, and don't sleep on UCLA.
Yeah. Even Marquette. Even Marquette. There's some teams that can be some, like UConn and, I got Tennessee going a little bit further. I got them like in the Sweet 16. And then Duke gonna beat them. That's how I have it. So I'm going to see what my team do. In the women's, I have South Carolina taking it all the way. Like, all the way. Like,
Definitely.
because of the bracket that they're in, like the path for them.
It don't matter what bracket they in. I'll put them in the men's tournament and they'll win the games.
I ain't mad. Listen, I got them all the way. And I got my top four: South Carolina, Stanford. I got Indiana, and UConn gonna still be there. But I think Big Ten Indiana's gonna go there. I don't have Indiana. I had South Carolina in a rematch with UConn. But from me watching other people's brackets,
losing?
huh?
Guess who's losing right now?
Who?
Purdue.
Purdue? Who?
You know where Purdue is playing at? Downtown.
Huh?
Purdue is playing downtown in Columbus.
So they playing downtown Columbus. If Purdue loses this game, a lot of people's brackets are going to be busted.
Not mine, because I didn't.
I know yours is.
I didn't pick Purdue. I told y'all Purdue's not making the Final Four. They got one player, and all you got to do is find out how to keep him out the paint.
I know. I'm going down to the game tomorrow to see Ohio State play tomorrow, and I'm excited to see them play because again, they have a great path to go. I don't know if they got enough gas again to take it, but it's going to be a great Final Four in Dallas. That following weekend.
If Purdue lose, and I took that King, Fairleigh Dickinson, that's going to be good for me.
Yeah, people putting their money line. IRS that came in here and hit it. So folks is putting money up. I heard that. Well, I don't know. We'll get to that later, but yeah, I got South Carolina winning again, back to back. I would love to see a rematch between. If I'm looking at the women's side, I would love to see South Carolina in a UConn match. But from the brackets and other brackets that I'm watching, and people who are picking, and when I was watching on Twitter, they got South Carolina and Indiana in the final game for women's Final Four. So that would be great to see a Big Ten team, in the Final Four, as well as to make it to the championship game. So, and that'll be on Monday the 2nd. So when you get to this phase, it's like, God, college basketball about to be over in about 3 weeks already. And it's like, so I'm living a moment. I'm at home right now with the TV on. I was like, what are you doing this week, next couple weeks? Home? Don't be asking me to go nowhere. Like, what?
I gotta work this weekend, but it ain't gonna affect me from doing what I need to do.
Right. Like, what?
Right.
I'm like, home. We're gonna be at home. Enjoying and watching the bracket.
The children and their activities. Desiree's in like 2 little basketball leagues. They're doing like a little basketball league at Berwick for like 5th and 6th graders.
Okay.
So she's in that. So she has practice on Wednesdays, and then her games are on Saturdays. And then I registered her for the beginners league, for the little beginners clinic for the brick league, and their games are on Sundays. Did you go? No.
Oh no. Well, we're going to start with the women. So think about the upcoming. Well, no, let me shut my mouth up. All right, Troy, take it on. Come on. Where we going? I'm ready to talk.
Okay. You sure you want to get your point across?
What you like?
Get your point across? Go ahead.
I'm going to be quiet. I'm going to be reserved. I'm going to stay in my analyst position.
This your show.
I'm going to stay in the analyst position. You the ham tonight. You the lead. So let's take it. I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait to talk.
No, wait. Say what you gotta say. We still on basketball.
Man, because I'm just like the games that are coming on tonight. Like I'm looking at the men's. Like, whoo! Like I'm so excited for these games. You got USC, like Tennessee. Well, Tennessee came on, but like these night games, like Ole Miss. You got Gonzaga. Is that Mark? That's the women. That's what I'm looking at. Like. I love women's basketball. So they got some hot games coming on tonight and even tomorrow. So I'm going to be glued to the TV. I can't wait.
Your alma mater is beating Gonzaga right now.
That's what I'm talking about. I'm over here like, let's go.
12-10.
I'm looking at it right now. Like, come on. Listen, if Grand Canyon beat Gonzaga, Grand Canyon is going to lose it. If you've never been on Grand Canyon's campus, it is absolutely a beautiful campus. and it sits right smack dead in the middle of the city. And it just, oh my God! Every time I go to Arizona, I always have to I go visit. And it's like the mountains are there. I mean, you can great food, authentic Mexican food. If you are a rum person, great rum. So yeah, I know downtown is off the Richter. So yeah, brackets are at So I'm excited. There's some great games coming on tonight too.
All right, y'all ready to move
That was
on?
my point.
All right, let's move on to the NFL.
Uh-oh.
So we're gonna talk about Lamar Jackson first. Then we're gonna get on into Aaron Rodgers next. Then we're gonna talk about some trades and some free agents and everything else that's going on.
All right.
Lamar Jackson, what y'all think about him? No, not what y'all think. What I know is going on is collusion in the NFL. So
absolutely.
He's got that.
Absolutely.
We know that the owners are colluding against him for him to get a lower contract than Deshaun Watson's contract. Side note, the Browns had to reconstruct his contract so they can get players. If y'all didn't see that, but that's for my boy Neil to handle. He's the Browns resident. So Lamar Jackson is not going to get the contract he wants.
But you know what? I have
that's
something
a guarantee.
to say about that.
Go ahead.
No, he's not. But as far as Cleveland, I believe this. Before Cleveland made that happen, they did some numbers. I guarantee you, this will not be the first year they reconstruct his contract. And they knew by giving him that guaranteed money, they're going to have to reconstruct his contract for the next couple years. Cleveland knew what they were doing when they gave him that contract. But as far as Lamar, I am so sick and tired of people acting like Lamar is losing the bet and the Baltimore Ravens are the ones who have the right to be upset and feel some type of way. No, I will say it and I will continue to say it. Everybody wants to get mad at Cleveland. Cleveland ain't got nothing to do with this. I will say it till my last breath. Baltimore dropped the ball on this 2 seasons ago before he got hurt for the last 2 seasons. When he was first eligible for that contract to be extended, that's when they should have did it. In my opinion, they did not believe in him enough to get it done at that time. They felt they needed to see more from him instead of securing him for the next however many years it would have been. So they risked putting them, in my opinion, I feel they risked putting themselves in this position waiting till the end of his rookie contract. If you would have done it 2 seasons ago, before he got hurt at the end of the last 2 seasons, in my opinion, they wouldn't be in this. Deshaun's contract wouldn't even be a topic of discussion when it comes to Lamar and the money he wants.
So, Lois, I got a question. And if you want to
blame somebody for guaranteed contracts, let's take it all the way back to Kirk Cousins. He's the one who really started this, not Deshaun. Let's keep that all the way real. Everybody seems to forget about Kirk Cousins.
I don't. I got a question for you, Lois.
Okay, let me rephrase that. Most people seem to forget about Kirk Cousins. He's the one who really got the ball rolling on this guaranteed money, especially for quarterbacks. Because until him, it wasn't even really thought of. So let's not sit up here and blame Cleveland about this. We need to take it all the way back to Kirk Cousins. But Baltimore dropped the ball. In my opinion, they waited too long. In my opinion, they waited too long. And him not playing at the end of the season, everyone says, okay, yeah, he was hurt. But I'm going to keep it real. I don't think he was hurt all like that. He's looking like, I ain't under, this is the last year of my contract. Okay, I'm already hurt. We not really going nowhere. Why would I put myself out there like that at the end of the season? Okay, we're in the wild card, but he was looking at the landscape of the AFC. Really, we not really going nowhere.
I'm going to sit on this one.
Why am I going to risk further injury?
Okay.
Like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not mad at him. I'm not mad at him for sitting out at the end of this season. I feel he shouldn't have played at all. I
Okay.
really feel he shouldn't have played until something was done. I understand he was trying to bet on himself, but in the end, by making the decision to play and then getting hurt with his, I'm not going to say because of his style of play, but with his style of play, but also I feel Baltimore, I feel the Ravens really haven't done enough to really make sure he doesn't have to run a lot and do a lot himself. That's my opinion. I honestly, I really feel they haven't put their best foot forward with surrounding him with players to where he doesn't have to do too much with his legs. Because let's not act like man can't throw. Everybody wants to forget what he did at Louisville with his arm, and he's shown
but we ain't talking about Louisville. You should have took. Go ahead, Troy. I'll wait to see what you guys say.
Nah, let Lois get her point across. Go ahead, Lois.
I mean, but that's my thing. At the end of the day, I feel Baltimore is the reason they're in this position. They waited too long. Period. Point blank. They waited too long. Okay, go ahead.
Okay,
Troy.
so Lois, I got a question for you and Tanya. What else does Lamar have to prove? He was a former MVP.
That's what I'm saying. Nothing. They should have took care of this 2 seasons ago.
So
they should have took care of this 2 seasons ago.
I can't see where it's not collusion with the owners, though, for sure.
Exactly.
We're not getting this done.
I'm with you 100%. They all got in the room after Cleveland gave Deshaun Watson that contract. They all got in a room with or without the Haslams. We'll never know. But they all got in the room, and the ones who are the head of the owners group pretty much made it clear to everybody else there will be no other contract like that one. But I will say this, as far as the Deshaun Watson contract, I feel the outrage more is of who got the contract than the fact that that contract was even done. If it was somebody else who was not in the spotlight for the wrong reasons with everything he was going through, I don't think there would have been as much outrage. I think that's part of the outrage from people as far as his contract. But going back to Lamar Jackson, he has nothing else to prove, in my opinion. I mean, at the end of the day, they say football is a team sport. One man cannot lead an entire football team through the playoffs to a Super Bowl. They have fumbled the ball, not only in getting the contract done before now, but also I feel with surrounding him with the right supporting cast.
Do you think that it hurts Lamar that he doesn't have an agent? That's for both of y'all.
Yeah. Because you got to think about it.
You know what? I'm going to say.
Yes,
I'm sorry, Tanya, you already started. Go ahead.
Yes, he needs an agent. Because again, sometimes you got to think about the agent. I mean, Lamar's been in this field. Lamar knows the business. And everybody can go back and forth to Deshaun Watson and all that. Listen, Lamar, if you would have had an agent, maybe you would have got the deal that you wanted. And we know it's a better, I call it the better the fitness with the owners, and the owner has something to do. At the end of the day, you thought you could do it on your own. And sometimes you just, I don't know, like you talking about $200 million guaranteed. But I think Lamar now is at a place where I'm going to go back to what I say again. Social media plays such a role in people's lives and how they make their decisions. If you think about this same deal said 10 years ago, he would have took the deal. Know why? Because it would have made the news months later. Now you got these men's contracts leaked on social media as they're even inking it. So now you have people that's like, you know how Troy, you go to the family gathering and you get a new job and then you tell your mama how much you got paid. And then mama went and told, you know, Uncle Troy, he got paid. Like, what? And then you get over there to the cookout and everybody know how much you get paid. Why you leave that job for that? Blah, blah. So you go into a whole conversation about my money when you don't even know why I took the job, or you don't, just that type of environment. That's why I look at it's like a cookout. Everybody knows how much everybody making, and I think Lamar he betted on himself, and now he in this position where they franchise and tagging you. You really don't have a say. Now everybody in the world has a conversation about you. The owners are now in conversation about you, and you still ain't get what you wanted. And that was the deal. I don't even think he wants to deal like Deshaun Watson. I think he just wanted his deal to show that I was worthy. And the Ravens ain't never, think about when you look at Ray Lewis, they've never been in sync with paying their QBs. That's why their QBs don't stay. They even talk about the play. Why do you think Ray Lewis retired? Because he said he was at the end of his ropes with the money and they wasn't going to pay him. So he walked, he retired. So and you think about even Ray Lewis, what was the other one that got into it with the domestic violence? Oh my God, what's his name?
Ray Rice.
Ray Rice, he was another one.
Ray Rice.
They didn't pay the money. They didn't pay. So this is a full, like, you know what I'm saying? This is a pattern with Ravens that they don't pay their most important people. And that's why they trade or they become free agents. So I don't understand what Lamar not understanding the pattern. They wasn't. So for me, I think an agent would have gave you a little bit more of a layer of a conversation. But to me, the longer this went on, the less and less clout you had to stand on your own. And now it's ugly. It's like a breakup. And you don't know where you going except for you're going to stay somewhere that you don't want to be now. Because now you really see that they're not going to give you the money. They give you $20 million guaranteed, but that's not really what you want. You wanted them to value you. And I think sometimes quarterbacks are not really the value anymore. It's the players. QBs are not like, you know what I'm saying? QBs ain't, back in the old days, like when we look at the Dallas Cowboys and the Pittsburgh Steelers, their QBs were like the fine line. They were the upper echelon. QBs nowadays in 2023, they ain't the upper echelon. It's, it's the offensive line. I'm looking for some receivers. That's where the money at now. So that's why another reason why I think he's not getting the money, because QBs don't have that upper echelon like they used to do back in the 80s and 90s. They just don't. People want to see a great receiver. They want to see, they want to see a linebacker. They want to see a defensive player really than a QB, because that's who's going to get the clout when they win a Super Bowl. It's not the quarterback always. Look when the Chiefs just won. It wasn't Mahomes. Who was it? Kelsey. He got all the clout. And he just did a couple runs. So that's what I'm saying. The QBs don't have that upper echelon anymore. And I think a lot of that comes too from Aaron Rodgers, from Russell Wilson, Jimmy Garoppolo, Dak Prescott. You don't got no real great standout quarterbacks anymore, except for Patrick Mahomes. So that's my take on it. I think he should have had he should have had an agent to kind of deal with those financial dealings. And now he's here really in a breakup, just like Aaron Rodgers.
Well, I couldn't disagree with you anymore.
Let's not even go.
Tanya, he's very important.
Oh, you said what, Joy? What?
I could not disagree with you anymore, but we'll let Lois take her take and go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna say him not having an agent, I'm gonna say yes and no. And the reason why I do say yes is because the agents, they are the ones who, they form the relationships with the people in the front office and the owners and all of that. But the reason why I say no is because if you've been watching the sports talk shows, this has also been brought up. It's not just collusion with the owners. Imagine what happens to the agent industry if he pulls this off without one. Just imagine.
It won't be the first
imagine what
But it won't.
happens.
Yeah, but it won't be the first time. I mean,
What'd you
It won't
say?
be the
agents,
first
That's
time.
what I'm saying. What'd you say?
It won't be
But
the
a
first
fully
time.
guaranteed contract without an agent. Well, no, but that's what I'm saying. If he pulls this off, you're going to have everybody else sitting back like, do I really need to be giving this man 15%?
and that's why it
what
ain't
I
gonna
get?
happen.
Lamar was able to pull this out.
And there
And
it
that's why I
is.
said
And
the
that's why it's
collusion
not
is not
going
just
to
with the
happen.
owners alone. The collusion is not just with the owners alone. Collusion is with the owners plus the agents.
Yeah,
That's why nobody is touching him right now.
and that's why I
Because
said
I
he needs
guarantee
an
if he was to
agent.
go to his mom, if he was to go to his mom and be like, look, I'm not firing you. I'm not firing you. You're just going to be in the background for optics. We're going to hire this person and they have an understanding, but they're out there. I think teams will start being like, okay, but
He waited too
at
long.
the end of the day, I mean, the Baltimore has not been looking good because everything's been getting leaked, and it's like I feel
But they
he
ain't never looked
has.
good. The
I think
Baltimore
today
Ravens,
by
when it's
leaking
time
all the
for
details
money
of
talk,
what
the Baltimore Ravens ain't never looked good. That's why I said Lamar Jackson, he dropped his own ball. Because he should have did his job. Baltimore Ravens ain't never
But
looked
I
good
mean,
when it comes to this
listen
time of
though.
the year. The Baltimore Ravens are like the Jets. They never look good. They never pay. They never give their players the right money. They never pick the right people. The agents they always try. That's why players for the Ravens always walk. They become free agents and they walk because the Baltimore Ravens do not know how to do their job. And I don't know why these athletes don't know when they come to the Ravens. When it's time for your money, you should be already on top of it. When your contract about to be up, like what do I need to do? That's like you do when you getting ready to get your money and it's time for the end of the year to get your review. You're gonna be about that money. Where do I need to do? What do I need to do to move? That's why I understand with Lamar Jackson. Like, what? Did you thought they was gonna pay you? Dude, no. I didn't know why Cleveland Browns paid Deshaun Watson. But that's a whole other story.
Well, remember that as far as him being a free agent right now, he can go anywhere he wants, and any team can put up a price that they want. The Ravens have to match the price. Right. So the Ravens are actually doing smart justice, which comes down to a free agent, is because if Miami said that, look, we're gonna give you 150 million guaranteed. The Ravens could say, okay, well, we could come back and give you 160 million guaranteed just to keep. So actually, the Ravens are dictating the whole contract with other teams, but they already colluded with each other and said we're not going to give him that. Yeah, so the whole situation is actually kind of mute. So it goes back to Lamar Jackson's going to have to play on a franchise tag this year and go out on free agent solely by himself the next year, unfortunately. He can't not play if he signs that contract. Now, if I was Lamar Jackson, I wouldn't sign a contract. I would just not play the whole year. We saw what happened when he didn't play last year.
That's the thing. Right. He still has to sign it. Right. He still has to sign it. And you know what? Honestly, I think there's a possibility he doesn't.
I think it's a possibility that he doesn't play either.
If he does not get a contract, I don't think he signs it.
If I was Lamar Jackson and I didn't have an agent,
really don't think he does.
I wouldn't play. But the agent does.
But there were people last year. There were people last year who said he should have not played without having an extension. Even though he was on the last year of that contract last year, there were people who was like, he should have not played. He should have sat out.
Which is why he did sit out. He sat out for the last 6-7 games for an injury that I'm sure that he could have played with. Remember at the end of the season when they said with the other team, the other players on the team was like, I'm sure that he probably could play, but if he hurt, he hurt. I mean, really, they knew he wasn't hurt. He just didn't want to play because if he gets hurt, that's going to hurt his contract. So if he,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, if he really gets hurt, that's going to mess up his contract. So
Yeah,
if I was Lamar
because the
Jackson,
more
if I
you
didn't
sit
have the
out, the
agent,
more rested you get.
I ain't playing. Literally,
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell y'all who Lamar Jackson
Yeah.
is. Lamar Jackson is Michael Vick without the controversy.
Right.
Really, that's who he is.
Really. Really.
That's how good Lamar Jackson
No,
is. If
you're
y'all remember
absolutely right.
Michael
Heck
Vick
yeah.
was a beast
Heck
down
yeah.
A
in Atlanta.
beast.
And Atlanta got a lot of nerve because Atlanta was the first team to come out and say that we ain't gonna sign him. Y'all got a lot of nerve, Atlanta. Y'all need all the help y'all can get, and y'all just
Right.
cut y'all quarterback Mariota. Whatever. Y'all ready to move on to Aaron Rodgers and his dark retreat?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
He gotta go.
let's make this quick. So
Right.
so
Please.
Aaron Rodgers came out the dark room and said, "Oh well, I was going to retire, but now I don't want to retire because the Jets said that I could come play with them, and Green Bay disrespected me by saying they don't really want me anymore. Who nobody want to deal with that BS anymore with him? Let him go to the Jets. Let him go play with who he want to play with. But he can't come out and say that he want this player, that player, that player, and this player. He need to go ahead and
Just
play
go play.
whatever team gonna pick him up. And he got
Right.
a lot of nerve for a player who only won one Super Bowl trying to dictate anything.
That's what I just said. Like, I'm so tired of listening to Aaron Rodgers. Like, just go retire. God, he remind me of Tom Brady, just dragging it out. It's inevitable. You're not gonna play. Yeah, you got a little bit more football in the tank, but my God, your antics is horrible. Like, you gotta go be State Farm, the ad rep, do something because you got to go. Like, I am so tired of hearing about you. God. Like, I'm over it. Like,
yes.
he got to go.
I tell
Again,
you what, though. Green Bay, I'll tell you what, though. Jets fans better get ready. Because I'm going to tell you this. This is not going to be solved, in my opinion, before June 1st. Green Bay, in my opinion, they about to stick it to him. They gonna take their time because it was like if they was to do something now, they would have to eat 40 mil. If they wait till June 1st, they only have to eat like 15 mil of his contract. As long as Green Bay gets him off the books before the start of the season, they good. We are talking about owners, petty owners. They remember the last couple years. They remember how he acted. They remember what he did. They remember how he ignored them when they reached out to him. So I don't expect Green Bay to speed this up at all. I think Green Bay is going to be petty with it themselves, and they're going to take their time. And I said, kudos to you. Hell, he made y'all wait. Excuse my language, sorry. Heck, he made y'all wait. They can make him wait.
I've never seen a player.
I thought about this morning. Don't let another team slide in there quietly and put in an offer. But I really don't think anybody else wants to deal with that headache. But don't let another team slide in there with an offer. And Green Bay's like, okay. And he get traded. So look, there's going to be a petty move made before this is all said and done, I feel, by the Packers. I really do. I really do. They're just being quiet. They're letting him talk what he normally does, and they're doing what they do behind closed doors. So if he thought this was going to be quick, swift, and done, he was in denial. Because at the end of the day, Jets quarterback situation isn't resolved. So they need this process done. Green Bay don't. They got their guy. They can start training camp and all of that, and they can get, their time together and get in sync. So it's going to be interesting. But I'm with Tanya. I'm so sick and tired of hearing about him. He should have just went ahead and retired. I don't put them up there if he goes to the Jets as an automatic top 5 in the AFC. You're 39 years old. No. And everybody wants to blame this past season on, oh, well, he had rookie receivers. He had young receivers. Exactly. He had young and rookie receivers. And because he kept throwing a daggone hissy fit, he did not get the time he needed with his young and new receivers to get in sync. So I put this past season on Aaron Rodgers more than anybody. Because you can only do so much if your QB ain't willing to take the time to hook up, to find out what your tendencies are, to see what's good for you, to see what you need to work on. But yeah, he just needs to go away. Next subject. I can't spend no more on him. I'm going to turn red in the face. Let's something else, please. I'm tired of talking about him.
Go ahead, Tanya.
Sorry.
Listen, I'll talk to you because I'm the same way. I look like, listen, Aaron Rodgers got to go. I mean, he just like Tom Brady. And I get it because their life, if you think about how long Aaron Rodgers has been in the league, I think I was in my 20s when he came in the league. And I'm 50. Well, let's take that back, 40s, because I'm 52. So he's been in the league, close to 10, 15 years, I think, almost close to Tom Brady, whatever the case may be. He just, they just need to retire. And I think they're scared to retire because like Tom Brady was, you let your whole marriage go to the tank to come back to be mediocre and have to still retire. And I think with Aaron Rodgers, it's just time for him to go. I think, he can go to the Jets, but I think it's going to be the same as it was when he was at Green Bay. I think he needs to go and get on the panel, have some conversations like they keep saying, like the sports talk say, like we're saying, it's done because you're not negotiating. You got a little bit left, but your players, there's a different type of athlete across all sports. It is not the same athlete that was in the 80s and 90s. They have a say. They have NIL. They got money. They're coming into the league with money. It wasn't like in the 80s where, I would say even when you look at Prime, because Prime says it all the time in Colorado, these young men are coming in with substance. They're coming in with millions of dollars already. They know the game. They know how to talk contracts. So if they don't like you, they're not going to play for you. We saw how that worked out for Russell Wilson. So we see how that sometimes played with Dak. You gotta be relatable to these young cats. And that's why Prime does such a great job. If I flip over back to collegiate, why he does such a great job of being a relatable coach to these players. If you want them to do what you need for them to do. If you don't, we watch it on the field every weekend. It's trash. And Aaron doesn't got it anymore. These athletes want somebody that's relatable. No, you ain't got to wear the Drew, whatever. You know what I'm saying? You got to be relatable. And Aaron does it. He's old school. That's why Tom Brady didn't do well. Because he wasn't relatable. They didn't like him. You say that all the time, Bookie Troy. They don't like him. That's why Garoppolo gone. Because they don't like him. That's why Russell Wilson didn't do well. Because they don't like him. Because they still old school antics don't work with these young cats. If I'm an NIL, I'm coming to the league, and I'm already making $5-6 million, and you got this old cat trying to tell me what to do. What? You got to know. You got to meet them where they at. And Aaron Rodgers ain't got it no more. So he need to fade to the black, go get on the panel with Tony Romo, and the rest of the crew, put his suit on, and talk some sports and still get paid. But like Tony Romo said, this
No,
season,
thank you.
it was an
No way. I don't
adjustment
even
that
want you
he,
on my
but Tony
broadcast
Romo said
talking
it was an
trash. I'm
adjustment that
good.
he had to make because he said, I was out of sorts when I first came on the panel. Even though it was crazy money, I was used to being on the field on Sunday. And that's something that he had to wrestle with. Kurt Herstreet says it all the time of him becoming a analyst and leaving the field and what that looked like. So we can go on to the next subject. What you think? So what you think, Bookie Troy?
I think that if Aaron Rodgers was on the Jets this year, the Jets had a chance to go to the Super Bowl because the Jets is actually loaded as far as their receivers and running back. Brees Hall, he got hurt. He'll be back next year. They got a loaded team. Garrett Wilson, Ohio State, one of the best receivers in the league already. He's only played 1 year. He's got weapons now. If he don't sleep on the Jets, if he does go to the Jets, I think that the way he got to the Jets.
But hold on.
Go ahead.
Now, as far as these receivers, here's my question. Who's going to be staying? Who's going to be going? And who's going to be put on the back burner? Because I don't know if y'all heard, there's been that report out there where he done named some folks that he would like for them to sign. And if I'm Garrett Wilson and everybody who's there, who's been championed for this man to come, and then I hear that you basically trying to replace me with your boys, I have a problem with that.
Garrett Wilson has nothing to worry about because Garrett Wilson just won Rookie of the Year. He's not going anywhere. And I'm sure Aaron Rodgers is not that stupid to want to put him in a back burner for Randall Cobb and Lazard. I don't think so. So that's a lot of arrogance just for him coming out, just saying that he wants dudes that's already washed
You
up.
just said it.
A lot
of arrogance.
The only guy
and look what this man has gotten away with. So I would not be surprised if he made that a contingency. Let's not act like the man really got a lot of sense. He's been very arrogant and he's gotten away with it. So a man with common sense will look at what they got me like, okay, you know what? I might have to put in a little extra work. I'll go work with what's there. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does get that arrogant and pushes for his boys to come with him. That's why I don't know. I mean, I understand you desperate for a quarterback, but in my opinion, you got to look at who this is. And it's just too much extra. I would not want to deal with this as a coach and as a team. Because I'll say it till I'm blue in the face. I feel that's why old boy left. What was his name? Devontae Adams. He got tired of dealing with them antics. It wasn't about going to play with Derek Carr. He got tired of that. Who wants to go through that every year? Who wants to sit? That's exhausting. That's exhausting. It's like going back and forth with your baby daddy because he wants things his way and he wants to have control and doesn't want to work with you. That crap is exhausting.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That's what talking about Aaron Rodgers. Oh, I like that subject, please. The man is God.
Aaron Rodgers compared to baby daddy. We're gonna roll with that. Okay. So we're gonna call Aaron Rodgers all year baby daddy, just so
Bookie Troy, that was something that you would have said. That's why I was laughing. That's something that you would have said.
Aaron Rodgers is gonna be baby daddy all year. We're gonna call him baby daddy.
He baby daddy.
Oh, okay. Let's move on for Aaron Rodgers. We see he bringing back memories. So listen, we got some free agents out there. We're gonna start with you, boss lady Tanya. Your boy, after 7 years, just got cut from the Cowboys. Zeke, what's gonna happen to him? We got Jalen Ramsey down in the Dolphins. We got other free agents moving. We got Garoppolo with the Raiders.
I know.
We got a lot of things going on right now. But let's talk about your boy Zeke right now. What team do you think Zeke is going to end up with since he got cut?
I don't know because he didn't even see it coming.
He should have saw it coming because they franchised the daggone running back. Are
I
you
mean, I
serious?
get that. I know, but just the fact that if we go back with him, he said he would never play for another team. He would
He's
never play for
insane.
another team. And that was what he's been saying. That's what he has stayed with this whole entire time, even when he was hurt and when he was coming back. And it was like, woo, like, no, that's why the sports world went crazy because nobody saw it coming. I mean, we all talk about it and what the coulda, woulda, shoulda, but we never thought that. I didn't think that he would have. I didn't think Jerry Jones was gonna go through with it. I just didn't think he was. So for him to go through with it, I think he just gonna have to. He gonna land somewhere because he still got some great moments. I think he just needs to be in a fresh new team, and I think he goes past the Dallas Cowboys, and he had a great career with them, and it's not Ezekiel that I want to see. I want to see how Dak going to evolve now that because again, that relationship was very close. That was a brother relationship. It was close. That's what I want to see. I want to see how Dak is going to play this year coming in. Is he going to rise because that brotherly love? Because again, when the moments count, Dak will throw the game because he's trying to make sure that Ezekiel had his, had his. I can't even think. I'm just like going crazy, like because that's how I was. Like he making sure that he had his yards, and so that's what I'm saying. They played their entire careers together, and that's what I want to see next year. Not so much. I know Ezekiel's going to land somewhere. Where I'm sure not. I'm not sure where he's going to go, but because he's been with him 7 years, like that was like an era. Dak and Ezekiel was an era. He was the overall pick, 2016. He's leaving the team with the rushing. And so, I mean, for me, it's going to be an adjustment for Prescott, And I've seen because he's been making posts about it. He's like in this somber, yeah. So he's been doing tributes all week to him. It was like, yeah, they didn't see it coming. So now that it's happened, I for real, I really don't know where he's going to go either. That's one athlete. I really don't know what his.
I would say
because I'm a Cowboy fan, and I know he always wanted to play. If he wants to play football, he will go and sign. But I don't know because he has came off social media. Like I said, it's going to be an adjustment for many people in his camp, the quarterback. So Tony Pollard's going to come into play now because now they're going to have to rely on Tony Pollard. Is he going to be the man and take what Ezekiel Elliott took the scrutiny? Because Ezekiel, that was a whole different production team when he first came into the league. Now you're going to have Tony Pollard. Is he going to be able to adjust to him now becoming the number one receiver? That's the thing for me. Ezekiel going to land somewhere. I'm wondering how that front line going to work this season without Ezekiel, not on the field, not on the sideline, nowhere. That's going to be a heck of adjustment. That's what people ain't talking about. That's what I'm talking about as a Cowboy fan. What is he going to do off the field and on the field with Tony Pollard? How are they going to mesh going into this year? Is that going to work? Because he will overlook Tony Pollard to still give it to Ezekiel. And it might be 3 and 4. And he will give it to Ezekiel when he knows that's not what he need to do. He need to throw it and give it to Tony Pollard. That's why we lost some of the games we lost, because he would still want Ezekiel Elliott to be in the mix. But now you ain't going to have him, period. So Jerry Jones, he did the unthinkable when he did that. So that had to be his younger sons, because I don't think Jerry Jones, he had to have a lot of push for that, because that was he said that even through the season he was not going to let him go. So that's where I come in at. Where did the change come from? I know he wasn't producing, but still. That was like, woo, that was some breaking news when that happened. I was like, damn, you really did it.
Okay, go back to your comment. Let's go back 5 seconds. What you said was he was not producing. at
He
all.
wasn't producing. And he wasn't.
One thing Zeke could do was block, and after that, he was kind of washed up.
I
So
know that, but that's why I'm saying this is the one free agency that I'm gonna be watching closely. Not just because he's my favorite. It's the fact that no one really saw it coming. That's why even sports talk. If you listen to the sports talk this week,
I
it
saw
hasn't
it
really been
coming.
a topic of discussion because a lot of people really didn't think that he was going to do it. Even
I
though, because he
saw it
wasn't,
coming as soon as they gave Pollard the franchise tag. I saw it coming.
and we know that. But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. That's what I knew for me that. But I didn't still think because he still has made provisions for Ezekiel to be on the team.
Listen
So,
here. Listen.
but,
Bottom line is this. This is the bottom line with Zeke.
yeah,
Zeke can go to another team, just like
yeah,
you said, and be okay. As long as Zeke knows that he's not the RB1. You're not the RB1 anymore. You're the
right,
RB2 and
Yeah.
possibly RB3. You know
yep,
who he'd fit in really good at? And I don't want to say this because it's going to make the vomit come out my mouth. Is Cleveland. Cleveland is where he was set in good there because they're about to
yeah,
lose their backup. As long as he know that he can run behind Chubb
yeah,
and expend him on third down and block for Deshaun Watson's crazy ass, he'll be okay. That's fine. But if he goes to a team and says, I got to be the number one, he won't play again ever again.
no,
Just so you know.
no, and
So
that's true.
I know
I
how
had
your
him
heart
going
feels for
to.
Zeke.
I had him going to Pittsburgh, where all his boys is at.
Well, he's going to sit behind Harris
Yeah,
because Harris he's going to sit behind Harris. Then he
and he's
can't.
going to sit behind. Yeah, he's going to sit behind
He
somebody. He's
wasn't
not going to
even
come in.
he wasn't even the number one running back on his own team. He
Yeah,
can't go to another team and say that he wants to be number one. As long as he has that mindset that you're not going to be the number one running back, he will be
right.
just fine. But if he come
Yeah.
in acting like he fucking oh, if he come in acting like he freaking Franco Harris or
Yeah,
somebody like that, it's over for him.
yeah,
So he has to
Yeah.
have that mindset. You're not the man anymore. You are washed up. And it's sad because Tiny, I'm gonna go with you right now. It's sad because Jerry Jones, they ran the death out of him.
yeah.
They ran him,
Woo!
they
Yeah.
ran the hell out of him. They ran his
Them
Yeah.
career
first 3
down.
years, he was running like a racehorse, like
They
a
ran his career
workhorse.
down in 7 years. They ran his career down in 7 years, and that's actually long for a running back.
It sure is.
So he got his contract. So now
Yeah.
he got his big contract. So now he's just on a minimum contract where he got to walk in and say, "Hey, I'll just
Oh
be
no.
his backup." If his ego, because it comes down to ego, as long
Yeah.
as his ego can tell him that he's a RB2 and not an RB1, he will be just fine.
Yeah.
Go
And
ahead,
that's why
Rose.
I said for me, you asked about the team he would go to. I said he would go to the Pittsburgh, even though he would be behind, he would mesh because half of the Pittsburgh, if not 80% of the staff of Steelers, the players is OSU. So he would go in, and that's the scheme of play that he would love because Pittsburgh kind of plays still that OSU man to man. So and Mike Tomlin will be able to give him, because that's another thing too. Ezekiel is going to need someone who can rear him. You know what I'm saying? That's going to give him that boost of confidence back that he's going to need. Because like you said, Jerry Jones ran that man them first 4 years until he got hurt. That's all he was, just a running back. He reminded me of Rice on the Ravens, just ran and ran and ran. And I said he needs a coach. That's why I said I'm not sure. I said Pittsburgh because that's the one team because of his teammates. Every teammate that he's had in the last the last years that he was playing are in Steeler Nation. So I can see him and the Steelers will take him in because they love OSU players. But he needs a coach that's going to be able to rear that, like you said, the ego, rear what has just happened, bring him back up, like healthy. This is what he's going to need. So that's why, with the sports talk, they was like, they ain't really, it's not really, it's been big, but it's not like, woo, because I didn't think he would do it. Even though he franchised Tony Pollard.
I knew he would do it. I knew he would do it. As soon as he signed that franchise tag,
I mean, I know, but
it was
outside
over for
like
him.
us, we're just like, because we know how Jerry Jones has such a better, he has a relationship with both of them. That's why they've always stayed around when we thought they should have been gone 2 years ago. I thought Ezekiel Elliott should have been gone 2 years ago. And I thought they wasn't going to franchise Dak until they gave him that crazy contract. But
Hey,
that's why,
Tanya.
for me, I want to see. Now I know Ezekiel's gonna land on his feet because he got the bomb dad. His dad gonna make sure he's straight, make sure he we already know. My thing for my Cowboys, what are you going to do now?
Tanya.
Is Tony Pollard gonna stand up? Is that gonna play? Or we gonna go or we gonna tank again?
Tanya, I got a news flash.
Okay,
they need to learn from what they did with Zeke. They need somebody else besides Tony Pollard. Tony Pollard is not built to do what Zeke did. He cannot run between the tackles like that. He cannot carry that load. They need to make sure they got a second running back in there. Like, no. If they put that all on Tony Pollard, he's not gonna last 3 years. Trying to take on that load. I hope they got somebody else that they plan on bringing in or drafting somebody, because if they think Tony Pollard's going to be able to carry that load, it ain't going to happen. I won't say that Dak and Zeke and everybody was blindsided. I'm going to use another word, because it was talked about towards the end of the season when I was watching sports talk shows about Zeke and how I got him. I'm going to use the word denial. And the reason why I'm going to use denial is because we all know Jerry Jones, he's immersed in everything, with the Cowboys. And everybody knows if Jerry Jones wants to keep somebody, he's going to keep somebody. If he wants to get rid of somebody, he's going to get rid of somebody. If he wants to bring somebody in, he'll make sure it's done. This is why I say I won't use blindsided. I'll use denial, because this is probably what happened behind closed doors. Them sons probably sat their old dad down and was like, look, X, Y, and Z. He's given us 7 great years. Production hasn't been that great. Dad, I know you love him. I know you want to keep him, but we got to cut ties. I do believe that his sons took the reins and told him, we can't keep him. So that's why I won't use blindsided. I'll use denial, because you're banking on Jerry Jones being able to come through and, be like, hey, what I say goes, this is my team.
But that's why I'm saying blindsided, because Jerry Jones has always been the deciding factor. So like you said, you're right. That's what I'm saying. His son said, hey, Dad, this is what we're going to do, because eventually they're going to take over to him. So that's what I'm saying.
That's right. But see, Tanya, that's why I use denial instead of blindsided, because you're banking on that Jerry Jones factor. You're in denial that as long as that old man is kicking, what he says goes, and ain't nothing his sons can say. So that's why I use denial instead of blindside, because in the back of their mind, they had to be thinking, okay, it's a possibility, but no, Jerry Jones is here. So right, because of him. So denial, it's like, okay, yeah, it might be a possibility, but we know Jerry loves him, so there's no way. That's not being blindsided. That's being in denial. And nobody prepared themselves for this. So now, you're talking about Tony Pollard. I want to see how Dak rises to the occasion. Are you going to stay in your feelings, or are you going to do what you did, pay tribute to your boy, and move forward, because your boy will want you to have success and succeed? Like, he's got to dust this off. Okay, you take your time, you be in your feelings, dust it off, and you've moved forward. Because now, honey, all eyes is about to be on Mr. Prescott. All eyes is about to really be on you.
All eyes.
Like,
so what do you think, Boogie George?
I think that the owners of the NFL are liars. They don't care if they had a relationship with the running back who held them up for 7 years. They don't care less. All they
Yeah.
care is about what production you doing on the field. Zeke didn't have that production on the field because he was hurt and he had a lot of miles on him. So again, and I can't
Yeah.
stress this enough, as long as Zeke comes into another team with the mindset and not his ego that he's ready to be the RB2 and not RB1, Zeke will be just fine because he's not taking a lot of miles now. He's probably gonna come in on third down.
Oh, absolutely.
Y'all
Right.
forget how good a blocker that Zeke is on third downs. Zeke
Heck
was on
yeah.
third downs for his blocking only. And he can flip out to the screen and catch a pass and blah blah
Heck
blah.
yeah.
He's a good
Zeke was
pass
Mm-hmm.
a
catcher.
beast.
He still has it.
Yeah.
And any man is
Versatile.
going
Right.
any man is going to feel a way if somebody thinks that they're not good enough anymore. I'm a man, and somebody come to me and be like, "You're not good at this." I'm like, "Yes, I
Right.
am. I'm gonna try to prove them different." So I'm sure that he's gonna
Right.
try to prove
Mm-hmm.
them different. But the NFL is a business, so
Yeah.
yeah, Jerry can say all he wants
Yep.
that I'm gonna keep him and now Zeke is not going anywhere. Boyish.
And he showed the
Y'all
world.
see
That's
that?
what I said. He showed the world because no one, I mean, even though even the sports world was like, whoa, it happened. Like, whoa, it really happened.
As soon as he signed
That's
that
why it
first,
became like, I mean, they stopped sports news
Right.
when it happened. I was like, God, they broke into sports news and showed it.
listen, they gave Pollard the franchise tag. They didn't get a quarterback the franchise tag. They didn't get a wide receiver the franchise tag. They gave the backup running, or was he the backup running back or the starting running back?
He was a starter.
They gave him the franchise tag. As soon as they gave him that, Zeke knew it was done with him because he still was owed $16 million. That's going to be under their cap now that they let him go. So it's all business. So you gotta let Zeke know that hey, I'm sure that they gave him his flowers
Mm-hmm.
and a buffet and some
Yeah.
porterhouse steaks from Dallas and sent him on his way. But you gotta go because you didn't have good production and you're kind of washed up right now. You're a RB2, not an RB1. As long as
Yeah.
he knows that, Zeke will be just fine. I know it's personal
Right.
with you, Tanya, but it's all business when it
Oh
comes to the
yeah, I know
NFL.
it. That's why I said. That's why for me, that's why I know it's business. That's why I said. But no
All
one just
business.
saw it coming. But we know why it's business because, like you said, 7 years. Woo. But I got it when the broke it when the news broke. I wasn't concerned about Ezekiel because again, I go back to who's around him. He has great support. I went straight to the team for next year. What is the team face going to look like? Is that going to rise and come up? Because now it's going to be on him. Or is it's going to be another tank? Is Tony
Mm-hmm.
Pollard going to rise? Is that whole entire, because like you said, we know Ezekiel, he gonna do that 3-4, that 2-1. He my 4 yards. But I know how that will do too. That will lose a game because he trying to make sure Ezekiel get his yards. Now,
So, so Tanya, I'm gonna tell you something, and you're not gonna like what I'm about to say. So
okay.
you might as well get ready. So listen, Jerry Jones actually he actually did Zeke a favor
Yeah,
because Zeke actually was washed up 3 years ago. He could have let him go then, but he
and that
didn't. He was hurt. He wasn't productive. Zeke ain't been productive in 3 years,
I
and they
know.
still kept him on a roster. If that was
That's
any other team in the NFL, he would have been gone. Been
and
gone.
that's what I'm talking about. Like
So
that's what
when
I'm
he
saying.
comes
Like
back, when
I know
Zeke
what you're saying.
retires,
Yeah, yeah.
when
And that's
Zeke
why I'm
retires, when,
surprised.
when Zeke retires from the NFL, he will be able to come back and go into the Cowboys ring of whatever and have his name up in the stadium. But I'm not mad at Jerry Jones. Jerry Jones is
Yep.
doing what he's supposed to do because Jerry Jones is a businessman. He actually kept him a little bit too long.
Yeah.
So if a running back shows up, and then running back class this year in the NFL draft is not that bad. If a good running back comes up, he's going to draft the next running back. Trust me. They probably already know who they're going to draft. That's why they let him go. He had to go. He was killing their cap, and they need to sign some free agents because they don't have they got late draft picks from their trades. So somebody got to go.
Yeah. Somebody got to go. And it was him.
Jerry Jones actually get held on to him longer than he should have as an owner. If it was me and I was the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Zeke would have been gone years ago.
Like I said, like we said 3 years ago.
Years ago. At least 3 years ago, Zeke would have been gone years ago. You can't be mad at Jerry Jones for being a businessman.
No, never gonna be mad. No, never. Because at the end of the day, we know what that looked like. You know what I'm saying? We knew it was coming, but I was just like, whoa, you did that. You did that. Like, oh my God, you really did.
I'm kind of happy they put him out.
Wow, you actually did it.
Yeah, that's what I was. That's how I was. When it came across my screen, it came across my ticker on my phone because I was at work. It was like, do like breaking news. I got this little thing, like a little alarm. And I said, oh my God, he actually did it. Like, wow.
Hey, you know what they do to horses when they can't run anymore?
I know.
Okay, so I'm glad that they put Zeke out his misery and let him go somewhere else. His career could be over, but it's not. Yeah, so he needs to, like I said, his ego needs to put him in check and tell him that he's not an RB1 and you're an RB2 and a possible RB3. It depends on who you go to. As long as his ego says that, he's okay. Don't worry about Zeke.
Yeah.
He's going to have enough money for the rest of his life. He's got generational wealth. Let's move on.
Yeah.
Is there any other free agents y'all want to talk about? You got Garoppolo in the Raiders. You got Jalen Ramsey and the Dolphins. Speaking of the Dolphins are going to be beastie this year, especially if they get Lamar Jackson, which they should get.
Yeah, if they get him,
being that he's from Miami. Being that he's from Miami.
Listen, Tua get one more concussion, he ain't gonna know nobody. Like, I'm sorry. I think he needs to walk away while he still has some brain function.
I know.
I'm just being honest.
I'm surprised he's still on the team.
You said you surprised what?
I'm not.
He's still on the team.
Yeah, I'm surprised he's on the team too. I thought he would have been going somewhere to go get healed. Because if he get hit one more time, that's not going to be good.
I'm not. But you know what? The fact that he's still there, that also tells me about his support system around him. Like, I know that's got to be a hard conversation to have, but at the end of the day, if I'm your wife, I'm sitting you down like, look, baby, you gave it a good go, but I want you to be able to know who I am 2 months from now, 2 years from now, and our kids. I'm keeping it real. Like,
yeah.
I let them know, like, look, I'm not saying I've given up on you, but baby, it's just reality. You done had 3 concussions in one season. If you want to be able to function on your own, you're going to have to give it up. Like, we can't be afraid to say that. And then, you know what? If they choose not to, I mean, hey, look at what happened with Tom Brady. He said he would retire. I guess a couple weeks at home drove him nuts. He said, bump this, I'm going back. Giselle said, oh, okay, deuces, I'm out. Apparently that was her worst from their vows. Like, that she couldn't take no more. Can't blame her. But, I mean, but you have, in my opinion, at least have the conversation with him. Even if you know he's not going to take it well, you can't be afraid to have that conversation. I don't think anybody's even trying to have that conversation with this man.
Right.
I don't think they're trying. And I feel that's the worst thing you could do, not only for him, but for yourself. Because, like we say, what happens if one more happens? You know what I'm saying? What happens if he gets a wrong hit? Let's not even say concussion. What happens if he gets hit the wrong way and then he becomes paralyzed? Now his wife has to what? Take care of him, hire somebody. I mean, I'm just saying it's just so much. And at this point, I just feel he needs to walk away. Did the Dolphins do right by him? No. And this is where I feel, and we know we know teams aren't going to do it. And we know, it depends on who you are. But I feel you have to get stern with it because at the end of the day, I'm going to always take it back to, what was it? Was it the divisional round game or was it the AFC Championship game where Patrick Mahomes got hurt and he was on the sideline arguing with Andy Reid and one of the offensive coordinators or something? And Andy Reid was like, you go, what'd you say?
It might have been the divisional game, yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Andy Reid was like, you go get checked out, and he was going back and forth with him. I'm just looking, and that could be like, no, Dad, I want to go in, no, but in the end, what did he do? He listened to the coach. Yeah. But I feel if you don't try to do that, then you'll never know if you can get through. And I think that's what's part of it. Part of it now is folks are afraid to go there. They're afraid to push back because, you don't want to hurt your quarterback's feelings. You still want to have him. Man, bump that. Look, this is about your health.
Yeah.
Your health.
I just know that that's a whole nother beast. I would not want to be that man or that wife because, like you said, people come to the league to play longevity, and you don't get money. You don't get insurance when you leave unless you have it already ready. There's a lot of things that the NFL don't pay when you walk away from the game.
Yeah.
That I was like, wow. So, and this is why so many men, now I understand why so many men continue to play through injuries because, again, it's like a job. You ain't going to get insurance. You don't have life insurance policy. You don't have any of that if you're not playing the game. So it's a lot.
But also at this point in 2023, see that we have that knowledge. You know what I'm saying? They have that knowledge. So realistically, if you're going to do this, and I feel this is where your supporting cast around you can help you. Like if you're going to play this game and the possibilities of what can happen by playing this game, you need to have people around you who are going to be like, look, you know what? You might want to have this secondary life insurance policy in place that has such and such. Okay, let's take this much of your check and let's start, like that's the thing. And, we try to talk about that now just in the community and society about saving. They definitely need it. You have had some players come out and say, they haven't had to spend any of their contracts. They've been able to live off of their endorsements. That's great. But how many players is that realistically? Probably like what? 1 in 50, 1 in 100, if that, So when it comes to the hard conversations, not only about having Tua to sit down, look, maybe y'all need to change up the way y'all handle y'all money too. And use Tua as an example. Use Shazier as an example from Pittsburgh. Like, because you never know in the moment. Even, what's his face from Buffalo? The Miracle Kid who had the game with Hamlin. Was that his last name? With Cincinnati and Buffalo. That went into cardiac arrest after being hit.
Oh, okay.
The defensive player. Yeah, like, even him, like, We have to be okay with having the hard conversations.
Yes, we do. And
See,
we're not
maybe
having them.
it's not meant for me to have sons because if I had sons and I noticed he had a bunch of yes ma'ams around him, I'd be done blown up his entire crew. I'm serious. I couldn't deal with that. I couldn't. No.
He said,
Okay, I'm done.
We good?
I was like, what, we good?
Okay, so listen.
Yeah, I'm good.
You do what you gotta do. So I got some breaking news. Purdue is down with 30 seconds left to Fairleigh Dixon by 3 points.
What?
Downtown.
That is bananas. Oh, folks, oh my God.
16 seed is about to beat a 1 seed.
That's what I'm talking. That's the first upset.
Again.
No, that's going to be the third upset. Third
upset. Oh my God.
But a 16, I think a 16 seed has only beat a 1 seed one time.
Right. Oh my God.
Yeah, Virginia. That was the first.
So back to your
the sports world may go nuts.
Back to your take, Lois, about Miami. You're absolutely right. But y'all know where Lamar Jackson is from, right?
Yeah. Miami.
He's from Miami.
Yeah.
So it's kind of a no-brainer for them to sign him. Do you know how loaded Miami is right now? They got the cheetah on the wide receiver side.
Listen.
They got Jalen Ramsey in the backfield. They got the 2 good running backs. All they need is a quarterback that can not get concussed every 5 minutes, and they'll be okay.
But that would be the bomb to really to see. Oh my God. That would be the bomb.
19 seconds left. Purdue up 58-61.
Man, that bracket, people's brackets are about to go straight trash. Their bracket
because I picked Fairleigh Dickinson. I knew Purdue was suspect.
Oh my God. I can't even under. Oh, how do I come back?
I knew Purdue was suspect.
Ooh.
It ain't over with yet, though.
That's my bracket. They about to.
It ain't over with yet.
Oh my God.
Okay, we got Garoppolo and the Raiders. Garoppolo is playing with his former offensive coordinator, Josh McDaniels. They kicked Derek Carr to the curb. They sent their tight end to the Giants. So I don't know who he's going to throw the ball to except Renfro. So what you think about Garoppolo with the Raiders, who can't stay healthy?
He can't. That's what I'm talking about. He can't stay healthy. Like I don't know why. I don't know why they put their stock in Garoppolo anyway. Like the Raiders didn't need him. Like they didn't need him. Every time I look about him when he threw that pass up in the stand, I was like, dude, what are you doing? And now you're gonna have to say, dumb Raiders. You also about the Raiders? They like the Steelers. Like they're like the dog pound. Like I call them the dog pound of the West Coast. They are bananas. Bananas. I
know because y'all been to that stadium. I know y'all was there.
I'm talking about. Like they I mean, it was bananas. Like it was like the dog pound. Like they did not care. They was throwing things like Guapo, man. Them fans, them 6-man fans is going to be crazy. I don't even understand what they thought that was doing. What you tell me, Bookie Joy, what was the reasoning that they picked him up? I need somebody to explain to me.
They lost their quarterback. They had to pick somebody else. Who else was they going to pick? Garoppolo. You know, they said that they did not want. Oh, there she is.
Okay.
The Raiders said that they did not want Derek Carr. San Francisco said they did not want Garoppolo. So he had to go somewhere.
But to the Raiders,
they basically the same quarterback. They just evened out. I mean, it was a lateral move.
His durability. That's what I'm looking at for him.
Do I think that they're gonna make the playoffs?
Nope.
They just sent their best tight end, Waller, to the Giants. So no, because Garoppolo, he might not make it to 5 games.
That's what I'm saying. His durability to play.
Don't worry
his
about fruit.
durability to play is not good. Not good. No. He said he feels great, but I just can't see him playing a full 12, a full schedule, a full year. What?
He ain't played a full year in 3 years.
That's what I'm saying. He ain't played a full year. That's why I keep saying durability. That's the word I was trying to think when we was talking. Durability. How this dude has never played a full season. And again, the Raiders fans are the West Coast Cleveland Browns. Them fans is they make you speechless. Listen, we was in the stadium, and I'm telling you, when Bob moved, I moved. When Arkell's moved, I moved. You ain't keeping me here. They were relentless. And they were losing at one time, and they didn't care. Their tailgating is, they don't care. I mean, it looked good for the ladies because, you know, everybody was like, oh, he's fine. But he plays like he is in Pee-wee football. He do not know how to throw. He throws the ball that's 10 yards, always too short. He throws, when he's trying to throw a long pass, it's always going to the left, out into the field. He don't know how to, like, when they're in the secondary, when the game is on the line, he don't know how to finish. So how are you going to deal with those fans that are relentless about their team? They are one of the old school. They're old school players. Those people come in full silver face. They come in war gear. And you're going to have Garoppolo out there throwing a pass when you need to be running a pass? Tell me how that's going to work out for them. And he can't even stay healthy. He ain't played in 3 years a full season. That's 18 games. So he want to thank the owners. What's wrong with y'all?
Purdue is down 5 with 0.6 seconds left.
They're gone.
Game over.
A 16 seed has beat a number 1 seed and has not happened in almost 20 years.
Right. I'm just like, that's like, it's my hood. And that's where everybody keeps saying, he's reuniting with his head coach. I don't care. I don't care. That dude is not, the opportunity is going to get squashed in a matter of moments. As soon as he get on that field, you said who?
Barely Dickerson. They just made me happy.
16 seed over a 1 seed.
Hey, listen, it was a plus 1,600 on the money line. Plus 1,600. You do the math. Plus 1,600, and I picked them like 4 times. I can get off the podcast now.
Really?
We got to talk after the air because I need to know the math on that one.
I just told you the math. It's a plus 1,600.
Hold on, you said in over 20 years. No, Virginia lost in 2018.
Wait, so you're saying whoever picked this money line? So the money line is what?
The money line on them was plus 1,600.
Purdue winning.
So that means
Purdue.
every dollar you pick, you gonna win like 10, 15 bucks, if not more, if 20 to 30 bucks per every dollar.
I'm still
And
not understanding.
I had them like 4, 5 times on the money line.
So you had what team on the money line?
Dickerson to
You
win.
had Dickerson on so you had Dickerson on the money line. The money line was 1,600 for Dickerson to win.
Yeah.
So that's $1,600.
So if you put down $50, then you won 1,000. Is that what you're saying?
You win more than that.
You win that.
Yeah, you win more than that.
Hold on, I got my calculator out.
Dang.
So you talk about 1,600 is the money line.
That's an opportunity missed.
So $1,600 is the money line. So if you put down $50.
Yeah, I know. Go ahead and do it in your head.
That's $80,000.
Hold on, that was how much?
So if I put a $50 wager,
if you put down $50,
no, it wasn't no 80,000. You won't get 80,000.
Well, 8,000. Well, what is it? Because I'm looking at my little dots. 8,000.
$50.
So somebody put $50 on this money line, got an 8K come up.
That's a big money line.
What? Lord Jesus, where was I at when this was going down?
Man, who you telling? Go ahead.
So if I put $100, that's $16,000. And so if you're saying somebody doesn't, so when you say 4 times, what does 4 times mean? That you put 200 down, or you did it 4 times?
4 times with the money you put on it. So that means you put $16 on it. I'm gonna give you the math right now. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm over here doing the math. 1,600 times $200.
So $50 on the money line will bring you $1,700.
$200 on the money line.
If you put 200 on the money line, that's gonna bring you like $6,000.
Jeez.
I had money on the money line like 4, 5 times from Fairleigh Dickerson.
So you just came up with a good 7K.
I'm not gonna say that. I came up. I don't have to play the tournament now. I'm good. Okay, so listen.
That's great.
So
he said, "Is that an HBCU?"
No. So listen. We got a player in the NBA that like to go to the strip clubs and show his gun and beat up 17-year-olds and be tossing back tequila on the plane and ain't playing right now because he got suspended. And then the league came in and suspended him for 8 games because he's a dumbass. And Jalen Rose sat down with him and had an interview with him and asked him, what the F is your problem? You got all this money and you blowing it. He says he has, had to work on his stress and work on his, dealing with, the things that come along with being a 25-year-old millionaire. So do y'all think that this player, and y'all all know who I'm talking about, do y'all think that he should play the rest of this year? Do you think he should sit out the rest of the year?
He's not. He entered a counseling program and he has no timetable of return back to play.
He got an 8-game suspension. So he had time served. So now it's really a 4-game suspension. So
Um,
if you dealing with all this stress and you dealing with all this, the playoffs is about to start. How you gonna come back and play?
because they said he would be out indefinitely, and then he does have like 4.
He has
For
4
me,
games left on his suspension.
that's just so because again, when you talk about, a lot of I just say
Thank you,
this,
baby.
a lot of young men come into this league and they I think I'll try to exactly the dog. For me, he got to, mental health it's a subject that needs to be talked about. And again, we go back to the conversation of young men coming into the league in all sports areas, all sports and industries, and they have lots of money. And I think a lot of them are not prepared to have this type
He
of
was a
money and
one
the
and done,
stress.
wasn't he?
I don't think it's a one and done. I just say for me is that he said he has stress, and you got to think about it. You are in a lengthy. A lot of people don't understand. I
He
mean,
was a
even the
one and
players, they
done.
don't. They don't really think. I don't think he's one and done. I think he just needs. He has to get mental health. I think he got to get around positive people because again, we see it all the time with our rappers. We see it with our stars. They continue to be in the same environment. Even regular people that we know. When you start to move in different areas of your life, as I call it, to grow, the stress comes because you're still trying to play in the middle. I know I'm an athlete, but I want to still be with my boys. My boys are pulling me. I got the money. I can do what I want. And that's what that undue stress comes in at, is because the bigger issue is that you're trying to play the middle, just like a regular person who don't even have money. When you start to grow in your life and take changes and move, you get torn because you're still, your family, your friends are wanting you to stay in that same space. We see it all the time. Just look at Offset and his aunt and his cousin. He died because y'all are in the same space. Who is shooting craps in the middle of the street and you are a multi-million-dollar rap group and you are shooting craps? Trash. That's just like Jay. The stress is, to me, is the mental piece of your family and surrounding yourself with positive people. I mean, that's one thing I say about LeBron James. He said it. You got to have a mental capacity to deal with this money, to deal with what's happening, the stress, the media, all that comes in play. And so, yes, you find yourself in these situations because you're playing the middle. You're still trying to still be in your friend zone, still trying to be in your family, still trying to be around people that you shouldn't be around. And so, yeah, like he said, it's those other situations. What are those other situations? That means you're playing with your boys in areas that is not good for you. And now it's coming to a head because all these decisions that you have made on the fly is now got you where you the type of conversation. Yeah, you're young and you're black and you're not, where is your camp? Like that's what we keep saying. Where's you got these yes'em people. Who is going to stand up? Even your family. You see your son going down that line. I'd have pulled my son like, listen, we need to regroup. What we doing? You brandishing guns, you know what I'm saying? But people making money off these players too. You feeding people. So I don't think he's washed up. I think he needs to get to some mental help, but also he needs to be around, come off the air, stop doing interviews, and really understand what the game is. And that's the downfall to our new athletes that are coming in this game, especially our African-American men. They don't have right people around them to make good choices for them and to tell them, hey, dude, you can't go to the club at 2:30 in the morning. Then y'all just see that TikTok video? Who was it? He said there's 5 different things that athletes get in trouble for every year. Be with a woman that you do know or you don't know. Being at the dark after 12 midnight. Having a gun in your car. Being after 12 o'clock midnight. Those are all things that are going to land you in jail. So That's my take on it. He could come back and play better, but because again, he do one more consequence, he gonna be gone completely. They're not gonna play with him. This ain't the NFL. This is the NBA. NBA is a whole different ball game than the NFL.
Right.
Go ahead, Lois.
What's up?
We talking about John Morant. What you think?
And you let a team hang around. You need to hold on. Sorry. Okay. You know what? I think he needs to take as much time as he needs. I think he needs to take the time to get his mental state right. He needs to take the time to sit down with his family, reconstruct who he's got around him, and Memphis just needs to continue to move forward right now without him and play. Like, at the end of the day, don't try to just keep yourself above water. Just keep your head above water until he gets back. Because like Tanya said, this is showing that this is more about this young man's mental state than anything. A lot of them don't know, they don't really know the magnitude of what they're going to be dealing with when they get in the league and they get this money. And then you have everybody coming at you, because they want to be a part of it, because they want a piece of the pie. But this is where having that true and right support system around you before you even get there helps.
Sure does.
But also, Reggie, I'm gonna have to call you back. But also, you know what? Honestly, and there's one conversation he's gonna have, and it's gonna be a hard one because this man, what raised him, he's gonna have to sit his dad down. He's gonna have to sit his dad down. They gonna have a heart to heart. They gonna need a mediator, because at the end of the day, dad gotta stop trying to be your boy and be your dad. Like,
that's what I said.
That's period, point blank. If he ends up being done for the season, he ends up being done. I would commend him if he takes the rest of the season to get himself and his support system and his crew together and get the right people in there and get rid of the people that don't need to be there. Now, if he rushes back after this 4-game suspension, then I know the statement you put out there was just to look good for the public.
Yep.
If you are really worried about your own well-being and your own self, you will take as much time as you need. Because apparently the team is behind you. I ain't heard nothing negative come out from players. I ain't heard nothing negative leak out from the team about them feeling a different way about him. So apparently they're supporting you. Take that time. This is serious. This is showing how serious this is. And as far as the NBA, from this point forward, after seeing something like this, they need to have some type of seminar or something, and even have former players come in and talk to them about the seriousness of who you have around you and what will happen when you are no longer in the league. Because Kendrick Perkins was on First Take, I want to say last week or the week before. And apparently he's close with John Morant and his family. And he said when he first started hearing the rumblings, he gave the dad a call and was like, yo, I'm hearing X, Y, and Z. Y'all might want to change up some things. And he said they blew him off, was like, we got this. It's all right. And Perk was sitting there on First Take and was like, now look at him. Now he's at the point where he might lose everything. But Kendrick Perkins even said with Boston, they had former players come in and be like, I'm going to tell you, when you're no longer playing and you're no longer in the league, that phone gonna stop ringing. Those people who you thought was your boys and wanted to be a part of everything, they gonna disappear. And he said he blew it off himself. He said when he was done, he was like, my phone didn't ring for 2 years. He said, I got my gig with ESPN. He said, them same people that act like I didn't exist for 2 years. He said, my phone started ringing again, and it was them same people. And he was like, you know what? Because I learned, I didn't pick up the phone. I didn't take their call. If he is really about getting himself right so he can have a career, he will take as long as he truly needs. And if it means the rest of the season, then it means the rest of the season.
I feel too. Well, we have, yeah, that's what I feel too, all day. Yep, he has to. Because if not, he's going to be a one and done. He also might land in jail, or he might hurt somebody, and then you're going to have some issues.
Or like you said, he'll be a one and done. He'll land in jail. Or breaking news: basketball superstar John Morant has been shot and killed. Because I mean, just using that as an example, we don't know if he doesn't take the time to really get his life together. He's going to be a headline, and for the wrong reason.
Yeah. What you think, Bookie Troy?
I'll be very surprised if John Morant comes back and plays this season.
Come back, period.
If you're saying you need to go see a counselor to deal with the stress that you're under, how you going to play in the playoffs?
Yeah.
If you got to go see a counselor, your issues ain't going to be gone in 2 weeks. Are you serious? If he comes back and plays, I think the whole thing is bullish.
Yep, that's why I said what I said. Yep. If he come back, it was bogus. It was just talk. Like, again, you have done three major incidents in a matter of months. I ain't even months, weeks from each other. Weeks. You went from slapping a 17-year-old kid up to doing some line to you brandishing a gun live on social media like you was just this regular 25-year-old kid at college. What, dude? And you didn't. And you asking everybody why they shared your post. What you mean why they didn't share it? You are a NBA star. What? And if you watch the social media post, he was under the influence of something. Even at the time he brandished the weapon, like you brandished a full weapon in a social media post, and you wonder why it got shared and it went viral after 10 minutes. What you thought it wasn't going to do? Like it's just And where was your camp again? Where was your dad, who was supposed to be your manager? Where were your people at? And that goes back to that post that the guy that he was a NFL player. He's a former NFL player that's been circulating ever since then about, he said, the 5 no-nos. Being after dark after 12 midnight, being with a woman that you don't know, being with a woman that you do know, being with your friends after midnight, being under the influence with drugs and weapons in your car or anywhere around it will land you in jail or hot water. And those are every single one of them. Every single rule that he said, Jay Morant touched. And I say stress is because you have now this money, and I don't say you're not mismanaging it, but you can see who you were around. You can see the people that he was in the background. He was probably down at that site being you at the DS Lounge. Like like Bookie Troy down there. He the NBA player, and he at the DS Lounge kicking it with his boys. What? No, you're not going to do that. And that's why I said he needs to take the time off. He don't need to come back for no playoffs. No.
So Tanya, just back to that game. I put $5 on one of the money lines, just $5 for Purdue, and won 100. $5, and I had like 4 or 5 of them.
Take that, Jesus. What it do, March Madness Con? I see you popping on. What's up?
Oh man, so
Tell us something.
I
'Cause I know
w-
you must got some breaking news to come on the
Hey,
Sports Kales Wine and Brew show. So what's
man,
the
so
breaking news besides
man,
Purdue
so
losing?
man, so I was at the Michigan game, Michigan State game. So that was a pretty good game, but
Okay,
Purdue. So um, yes, I wish I stayed longer for the Purdue game, but I ended up leaving because I had to go to work. But my goodness, whew.
what's your
Um,
take on this? What's your take on this?
Man, first of all, they almost lost when they played the Big Ten tournament title against Penn State. So the critical mistake that they
Penn
made,
State. Yep.
yes. So Penn State pretty much lost the game for themselves. If they did not travel, they would have won that game. So that was the red flag for Purdue. They should really learn something from them because they made the same mistake. You know, shooting threes when they didn't need to. They are much faster than the other team, so they should have like attacked the basket. But they got they got slummy, they got lazy, and just man, you. Here's the thing. So the region that they're playing is the South region, which has Alabama. So I think most people have Alabama going to the Final Four, right? And
Right.
also in that region, you had
Mhm.
Arizona, that lost. Number two seed Arizona lost to Princeton, 59-55. You also had Virginia as well. So those two teams losing now gives Alabama perhaps the opportunity to really go far into the Final Four. But obviously, they still have Baylor, Missouri, and obviously Princeton could also make noise as well. So it's definitely a shocker. It's not really a shocker, but they just have to go back and really look and see. This is a wake up call for all the top three seeds in each of the region. It's a wake up call because some of these teams that are
Yeah.
they may come in rank number 16 or 16 in the seed. Doesn't matter, man. You look at VCU back in the days. You look at Josh Mason back in the days. You never know, man.
Yeah.
So yes. So Troy, what you think, man? I know you want money, but 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 as for the breakdown of the game, are
Yes,
you
I did.
surprised? Are you surprised or what?
I'm not surprised at Purdue. No, I'm not. That's why I put money on them to lose. Um, I'm not betting on Alabama because they're a team of murderers. So
Sweet.
I don't. I wish they. I hope that they fall quick. I'm gonna bet against them the rest of the tournament. I got Houston winning, and I got Duke in the final in the championship game with them. Unfortunately, and I'm a North Carolina fan, so Duke coming out my mouth is really bad. That's like
What about
That's like rooting for the Celtics.
Kansas? I know they lost key players, but do you still think they got blowout in the Big 12 tournament game against Texas? There's a lot of people not even talking about Texas too. Texas is pretty good this year as well.
Texas is good. I don't think Kansas is gonna make it either. Purdue just went down, which I thought they went down. So this would be an eye opener for number one seeds. You ain't safe in this tournament. Nobody is safe.
Nope.
Look at the teams that lost yesterday.
So
Nope.
who's the next number one to go down? I
I
know
hope
you said Alabama.
Alabama because I'm not rooting for Alabama.
But as far as the players, the
But
structure, the
that's more
offense, the
emotion
defense.
than actual. Alabama's a good team, but
Okay,
their number one player is actually kind of hurt right now. He's got a groin injury,
okay.
but Brandon Miller. So they're gonna be next in my eye, hopefully.
Well, what
Tanya, man, what
about
do you think?
Houston? Don't their star player isn't he hurt too?
No, it's
Yes, he is.
Alabama's players hurt. Nah, Houston got a chance to make a run. I got them in a championship with Duke.
I'm gonna be honest with you. When I covered the OSU last year, right, and Houston played in the same region in Pittsburgh, I was really impressed with them as offensively, not just offensively, defensively, right?
Defense.
They're the defense was outrageous.
They're a
They put,
defensive team.
yes, they put pressure. The only thing is their offense was not clicking, but if they can find one or two punch,
Mm-hmm.
I think they can make a deep run. But don't fall asleep on those you know, seeds, man. 16, 15. I mean they won their conference, even if it's, you know, not well known. But I think I would love to see a non-known team or school win within the next 2 or 3 years. You know, I think it would really put like Butler. You know, Butler going back in the days, how they lost the first game. I know the
Mm-hmm.
second
Yeah.
championship that they went to, they were going to lose anyway. But that first game, the first championship, they should have won that game. But I would love to see a really small school do it.
And that's all I was surprised. Again, I was surprised
And
to see
Troy, no,
Purdue go down. I was like, wow, Purdue went down
Troy,
because again, when I
Troy,
don't know, when you think about 16,
Marcus.
huh? When you think about 16 seed
No,
teams,
I was gonna say
like,
Troy.
woo,
Mm-hmm.
I just came, I was just like, wow. Plus, I thought Purdue played well, but second half, like for me, when you talk about 16 seed, that means that you ain't got nothing else to lose but to ball out and play. And some people's brackets,
Yeah, because
because
they
they
don't
had
really
Purdue
know.
going far, and them brackets got cut in
I
half.
didn't.
Like I know you did,
Oh,
but
did you see the way they play?
like you were for me, like my bracket's like hanging on a nail because I'm like you like the second, like Sweet 16, 8. Like I'm looking at the brackets now, just that they always show what people's brackets is hanging by a nail. Like oh my god,
So if you
like,
look, okay,
Yep. But no,
so if you look at,
Troy,
go ahead.
Acer did leave the game with an injury for Houston.
I'm sorry. Say it again. I
Marcus
didn't hear you.
Acer.
Yeah.
I said no, I was right. Marcus Acer. He didn't finish that game yesterday for Houston. He
Oh, okay. I
left
didn't
with
know
an
that.
injury. Yeah.
So Virginia was the last team to go down as a number one seed to a 16th seed in 2018.
Hmm.
Yep, they were the first.
Yep.
That's
Now
messed up, man.
it has happened again.
Now y'all know who the darlings of the tournament is right now? Fairleigh Dickinson. I couldn't tell you
what?
where that school is at.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Question. Where is it at anyway? Where's Fred
I have
Dickinson at?
no clue. I could care less where they are, but I'm going to go to this school and bow to them. Thank you.
Let's look them up real quick. Where they at?
I
Right.
hopefully it's
Hold
in
on.
driving distance.
Everything's aware. Yeah, where are they? Because I'm like, what?
All right, hold on. Let's look them up real quick.
I'm
Basketball. Where
spelling
they
their
at?
name wrong.
Fairleigh Dickinson. That's hold on. Where they at? Let me see. Um.
What are we looking at?
We're looking at where they where
Sanders said New Jersey. Mm,
New Jersey. Oh, that's where they're at.
I
he
ain't
said New
driving to
Jersey.
Jersey. I'll go on their website and say
Oh,
thanks.
okay, yeah. They're in Madison, New Jersey. Okay.
Madison,
Close
New
Wow.
Jersey.
to call them.
Wow. So, what region do you think will really make some noise? Because I know most of your brackets are a little jacked up, just like mine. But what
Don't look
region?
at
If you
don't
really look at,
the
go
West.
ahead.
The
The West.
West.
Hold on. Okay, what does the West consist of? Hold on. Now, who's in the West? Like, what are the top teams? I'm looking at the bracket now. Hold on.
Miami.
Kansas, UCLA, Gonzaga,
Yep.
UConn.
Yep.
Oh, and St. Mary's, but they got beat. Oh no, yeah, in St. Mary's.
Hold on, Dad said that if he gets anything later, he can need you to come pick it up because he won't be able to hold it down.
Oh yeah, actually, that's true. Can we talk about our university real quick? Because I don't think they've. I think it was their first tournament, if I'm not mistaken. Um, Obviously they're known for a lot of things, but for them to come up for them to make it into the tournament was actually a big deal. So especially for a historical black college. So can we
Right.
talk about that for a little bit? Because that was when I saw that they won and got selected, that was pretty dope.
So
Because you're
why
looking at,
you? So how do you think they're going to fare in the conference? How you think they're going?
I think them making it will put more spotlight
He's
on their
getting a bunch of
basketball
pepperoni.
program because
Okay.
obviously Princeton, I've made to the tournament a couple of times. You have Allward and all. You have Princeton, Allward, and other ones as well. But as far as historical, I know Texas Southern, which is another black historical black college. They make it all the time. And then a school that's is it Texas Fairview? Not Texas Fairview, but there's another historical black college that it's not very. It wasn't very far from where I used to live, Brookshire. But yes, I know they used to making it too. But I really love the fact that if we have more historical black college schools making it, it really would drive more high school recruits to those schools as well.
Okay. Mm.
But yeah, right now, who's playing next? Hold on, before I let you guys go here, I think. Hold
So
on one
how do you
second. Let me
think?
see.
My question to you, really quick before you go off the Aerocon, is how do you think the women? How do you think Ohio State women is going to fare in the tournament?
Man, let
Since
me
we
tell
are
you
now
something.
going to be, we have been approved to go and are going to be a national media outlet. What do you see, really quick, for we can share with the viewers of last year's tournament to what you're looking forward to watching this year as we prepare for the road to the women's Final Four?
I'm super excited for the women's basketball for two reasons. So my first experience with women's tournament was 2018 when I took my niece to Notre Dame versus Mississippi State, actually right here in Nationwide Arena. For me, it was an incredible experience. The family coming together, the community coming. It was just. I'm from Minneapolis, and to see the community really gathering and really watch women's basketball was incredible for me. I think it was over what 18 or 19,000. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
excited because I don't think women's basketball is getting enough credit. Number one, I don't think they when I covered the men's and women's team OSU last year, there was even the women's record was a lot better than the men, but the men's always had good attendance. And for me, I wish they would show the same support
Right.
because the woman lost against is it they lost against Texas, right? And that was
Right.
that was a close game, right?
Yeah.
They
Three
kept up,
points.
yes, they kept up with LSU that has a legendary coach that has what two championship, right? From Baylor. So
Right.
for OSU to beat LSU, that was a statement. And then them coming
Yeah.
back and starting the season 19 and 0, everybody's overlooking them. They have obviously the two guards, and they have a couple of players that stayed, and they still have the international player that's actually doing much better this year. And I know she graduated already, but she's doing incredible. So that those pieces coming together, they can make a deep threat that most people don't are really overlooking them. I know their records speak otherwise, but you know I know that they didn't do very well during the Big Ten Women's Tournament title game when they lost miserable to Iowa. But
Mm-hmm.
that's another thing. But I think it's always interesting to me that the Big Ten always seem to have more teams in the tournament, either the man or the woman. But it looks like we never really go anywhere, right?
Right.
Everybody, it's always like 8 teams within like a week or two, and everybody's out. I'm like, you keep sending 8 or 9 teams to the tournament, but nobody's really making noise. You have Michigan State. I don't know how they get in with their 19 and 12. That's still surprising to me. But
Right.
the women's, I'm looking forward to the women's. Because
Okay.
I think all of the Maxwell and all of those players, I think they're gonna come out and show the tournament people that they are for real based on how they finished last season in the tournament. I didn't expect them to
Okay.
go very far, but I wasn't surprised that they went toe to toe with Texas. They went toe to
Yeah.
toe with LSU, and they even made it to the Big Ten tournament game this year. So I think they're gonna go far. I have a really high hope for them, but if they end up losing, I think it will go down to the wire. They're not gonna just be stumped over. I don't see that happening this year. They are way too good.
Okay. Thank you for that. So we gonna keep you him and keep coming back on every week and give us that because I know you're gonna be at a lot of the games. We're going tomorrow to the OSU game. So as we wrap up, what do you think is gonna how you feel OSU is gonna fare tomorrow? And that from last year to this year, do you think that it got reset to be I say they're gonna go to final, the final eight. And I think they'll get to the final eight.
Yeah, I think they have a chance of getting to the elite. What I forgot what region are they in again?
We are I know they play tomorrow at the Shopping Center. So we are in the we should know, I believe.
Come on, Troy. What's your thought, man? We need to support the women's basketball. Uh, we need to, man.
I already
What I
gave you
saw,
my
yeah. Go ahead.
you got on late, so I already told you about the women's. There's only one team that's going to win, and that's South Carolina, and so that's real easy.
They play
Y'all
JMU.
can talk about who gonna play who and who gonna be in this bracket and who this region, all the hell y'all want. South Carolina is going to win the damn tournament. It's that
What?
easy.
Okay, now there's a lot of players that are back on UConn's bench that were injured from
I don't
last
care.
season. Do you think that will make
I
any
don't care.
difference?
Who
That's what I
cares?
was. Yeah, that UConn.
I'm more
So
concerned about Iowa's bench than UConn's bench. I want to see South Carolina play Iowa in the championship
ooh,
because I want to see Caitlin Clark against Boston.
Now, I will say that girl can play, right? I
right.
watching her in the tournaments that she can play, and I wasn't very far. I was in the photographic section when she was shooting. I I her scoring is impressive, but her point guard ability to pass the ball and get everybody involved, to me, that's her game. That's what set her aside from everybody else. It's almost like a Yukon Page, but she score when she needs to score. But I think her point guard ability is really what drives the team. So, and I think they have a lot of the players, but um, Indiana was also good. I've also seen them play um, up close. I think they're not. I mean, I think they finished the top three in the final pre postseason or before the regular season. So I think they have a chance to also make it too. But you're right. I would love to see Iowa and South Carolina. Now, South Carolina, I don't think they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna go all the way to the final, um, but they're gonna have some competition this year. It's not gonna be a walk in the park.
This is the only question you should be asking yourself. What team can give South Carolina a run for their money? And that's
It's
Mm.
it.
it's it's not
What team?
Iowa. It's not Iowa. It's probably Stanford. It's probably Stanford or listen. What's another team? There's another number one team. Um, I can't think of it right now.
Yeah, a
Excuse
team
me.
that's not going to be South Carolina. So go.
Because
You don't even tell me who the team is. It don't matter. South Carolina is going to win again. And
I mean,
But I
they
think
got a clear, a clear path because there's no one really. Because Boston gonna be, whew,
I don't think it matters how clear their path is. They're going to win anyway.
yeah. I mean, I said it's gonna be a back to back. They're gonna get back to back champion because Don Staley just has a complete game plan. They don't play hard; they play as a team. And that's where sometimes when you start to see the teams come apart because they start to play without, you know what I'm saying? They start playing as I because they start trying to do too much versus playing together. And that's where like Don says it, I just keep my team, consistent. We play as a team. No one is bigger than each other. And that's what keeps them winning. And that's what's
LSU was
going.
supposed to be. Remember, LSU was supposed
Oh,
to
yeah.
be.
Oh,
They
yeah.
were
I was
supposed to
listening.
beat
We was
South
there.
Carolina. Remember, South Carolina beat the brakes off
Breaks off. We
LSU.
was there when
They
they
beat the
played. And
brakes
I
off
was
LSU
like,
last year. They beat the brakes off LSU this year. They was like,
woo.
LSU, they gonna get South Carolina and run for that. Get the hell out of here.
Oh, yeah. Because I was talking about that, too. I was like, when they had that rematch, that it was crickets. They didn't even want to talk about it. I was like, listen,
I
the
will
way
put
they
South
played them last
Carolina.
year,
If the men's tournament started again today, I will put South Carolina as a number 15 seed against any men that they go up against and give them at least a little half a run. They might not lose. They'll probably lose, but they at least hang. And
like Xander said,
I will
Staley
put
is like Don. She is like the most to watch her up close. Like B and O'Connor got to last year. Again, to watch all the coaches to see her. She's just a complete player. Like she's a complete coach. She not, and that's what also too. She was a player, so her eye is different from a coach that maybe have not played in the game. She was in the game, so she sees a different. Like that's why I love watching her because she sees the game different. It's almost like watching an athlete to an athlete playing the game. She don't coach as if she's the coach. She coaches like if I'm the athlete in every game. So she has a different eye. So that's why I said she's almost unstoppable because of how she coaches.
So do you think that every former WNBA player, NBA player, or college standout, if they get a head coaching job, do you think that that's the mentality that they need to put
Yeah.
on the floor when they're coaching?
Look how even Katie Smith, think about Vegas, the Aces. Look how they play. Look how they coach. They don't coach from a standpoint of a head coach. Think about why Deion Sanders played, why Prime coaches like he coaches. Because he was in the league. I think anybody who's been in the league and played the game, they have a different perspective than what you would do if you did it. You know what I'm saying? Especially like Taylor, she was a baller. She sees it. And that's why she was able to handle. Because think about before Don came in the picture, it was all UConn. UConn was just like a dynasty. Don, head coach Don came on the thing, and she ain't looked back because she has the mentality of a athlete at times. She sees the game in a bigger scheme. Like Troy said, no matter who you put her up against, like everybody was saying all last year, oh, LSU gonna win. And she drugged them. Like we saw it. You know, she had a different eye. Even how she coaches, even when she's down at times. You don't never see her. You don't never see her like, get ruffled. She just stayed the course.
What about Kara Lawson Duke? She's also a former WNBA player. She was actually pretty good as well, both in college and the pro.
And you see why they play. I think when you look at across the board, especially for women's basketball, even men's, and you go by the coaches and you see if they were former athletes on the collegiate level, and even think about the next level, NBA or WNBA, and then think about them coming back to the collegiate level and see how they coach. They coach with a different perspective. That's why Deion Sanders was able to go to Colorado and pull these kids in to his philosophy because he was a player. He was a player. He knows how that mind. It's a growth mindset. You could be a
But
head
you,
coach all day, but if and a lot of these coaches don't think about that. They think it
Mhm.
doesn't matter. It does because you have a growth mindset.
but do you? Does it matter what conference though? Because
No, because
Don
what the
Don
conference that
plus
what
wanna.
what conference in South Carolina? That's what they don't. I don't think it has nothing to do with it. I think it's just the mindset, the growth mindset of the coach itself.
Yeah, because it's so interesting because it looks like when it comes to basketball, you got when it comes to the men's basketball, SEC is not really dominant when it
No,
comes to basketball. Football, yes,
right.
like the Big 12 or the ACC is those are the two conferences. Right? Before everything, there used to be the Big East. Now everybody's kind of withdrawing themselves from the Big East because I think the Big 10 and the Big 12 is going to add some player. They're going to add some schools, and that could make the competition a little bit. Yeah, yeah. But anyways, I'm excited for tomorrow. I'm excited for the men and women. But you're right, Troy. Um, I think it would be very hard for teams to beat South Carolina based on what I saw physically in
You
person. And
think?
but I don't think it's gonna be a walk in the park. I don't think it's gonna be a walk in the park.
I
They
think it's
yeah.
going to be a walk in Central Park feeding the pigeons for South Carolina. So I think
Oh
you're
my
wrong,
God.
and we can revisit this in about a week or two.
Well, if that's the case, question: what
Hey,
can
listen,
team do?
Ocon. Let's start this right now.
Hold on, but before you answer that, because I want us to be fair. What can team do to slow down South Carolina or slow down a team like OSU or slow down a team like Duke or LSU? What can team do?
Well, I know what the team can do to slow down South Carolina. Like you remember those skaters who got in a fight and one hit and one of the skaters hit one of the skaters with like a pole. What was those girls' name? Tanya Harding and what was the other girl's name?
Oh my God,
Oh
You
my
ain't right.
God.
Nancy
Bookie
What,
Troy,
Kerrigan.
what?
You
Nancy
ain't right, man.
Kerrigan. So that's the only reason. That's the only way you're gonna beat South
Yes,
Carolina
Nancy
if
Kerrigan.
if
Oh
Tanya
my God, I
Harding come
cannot.
back and run on the court and hit one of the girls with a pole. So particularly Boston, if
Anybody
they hit
listening
Boston
to
with a
this,
pole.
don't get any ideas.
So
but
that's the
but
only
but
way that I see South Carolina losing.
but Troy, let's take away from the violence. Seriously, what can team
That's
do
the
to
only
slow
way.
them down? Never mind, I'm done. Okay,
Oh,
Tanya, what can team do to slow down South Carolina?
they got to
She don't
come
even know.
in.
She don't even have an answer.
They got to come with a different. I mean, you're going to have to play. The thing I see about most teams that play with them, they start playing I. They don't, because again, South Carolina
They,
usually comes out slow. So people think they get a hitch. When the team get on the, again, first of all, most of the time, Boston sometimes is not even in the lineup. She come in and then they put her, they set her on the bench. I feel in order for them to be competitive with South Carolina at this moment, they got to control Boston. Is that easier said than done? No, because she's an elite player. Because she play the outside. She don't play the in. You know what I'm saying? She play the outside. She play the rim, like the perimeter. She don't go in. She gets her what makes her great. She gets her team involved. She don't have to be the number one. She is the number one because her team will make sure that she's surrounded by the ball. But she does it. She will pass it to her teammates. And that's what makes them dangerous because you don't know who she's going to pass it to. So,
well,
with that
it
being
looks
said, like Troy said, it is impossible at this time. It's like a new dynasty taking over. And right now, it is. It is her. It is. South Carolina, Gamecocks. What did she say last year? You all know? Ask somebody. Gamecocks. And she tipped her ball cap and walked off because they had rolled her off in the final game. You remember they wrote her off. They said she wasn't gonna win, and
Oh,
she
Con.
played consistent. And
Oh,
that's the
Con.
thing.
Yes.
Aaliyah, she plays around. Like she don't have to be the number one. She'll pass the ball. She'll come from the outside. She'll shoot from the perimeter. She don't
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
go in the lane.
that's one thing. That's one thing I like this year. Her game has taken off. She's shooting from the threes, shooting from the
Yep.
twos. You know, obviously she dominated
Yep.
more on the paint. But yes,
Yep.
so that's one thing I
Oh,
like about
So
the
Con.
game. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. What's up, Troy?
So this is what we can do.
Okay.
You pick whatever team you want in the women's tournament. You put $100 on them. I will put $100 on South Carolina, and you come
see,
see me at the end of the tournament, and
you
we
better
can
go ahead
put
and put
that
your
bet on the
cash
line.
app out there.
Do you want to put that bet on the air right now, sir?
You better go ahead and put that cash app out there right now, sir.
I think as a sport
Come
journalist,
on, come
as a
on.
sport jo- as a sport
Yes or
journalist,
no? Yes or no?
as a journalist, I'm not supposed to be. I'm not supposed to say all that on
Yes.
air. So,
Yes. Is that a yes or no?
as a sport journalist, I'm not supposed
As
to.
a sports
So,
journalist, we cannot. That's why we like, whoop.
so I'm
And
gonna.
my case is closed. Tanya, please take us home.
Well, listen, it's March Madness. Arkels is not here with the shenanigan news, so he'll be back on the air next week. It's gonna be crazy, crazy. We already see Purdue went down, number one seed against a 16 seed. The women's basketball, if you have not, me and Akan will tell you, our ask for this year again is to watch women's basketball sometime throughout this next couple weeks. Watch not just OSU, watch women's basketball. Let us know what your take is. We love it. It's exciting. We see South Carolina, as Bookie Troy said, is a new dynasty is taking the helm. Tony D is always going to bring us the craziness. Aaron Rodgers is the new baby daddy of the NFL.
Yes, he is.
He's the new baby daddy. We got Garoppolo going to the Raiders. I don't know how that's going to work out, but I'm gonna try to go. I need to go to a game and see how the fans. Because I told you the Raiders are the new, and they are the West Coast Cleveland Browns. They don't play no game, so we're gonna see. We're gonna see how Lamar. We hope Jay gets some help, and we're gonna leave it. It's Women's History Month, so. What's a quick word of encouragement to end our show? Start with you, Bookie Troy.
For Women's History Month?
Just a positive. It's Women's History Month. What's a positive word you can leave for everybody for the next
Hey,
week?
if it wasn't for these couple of women, we would not have the mathematics to send people into space. And there was a movie about them.
Hidden Figures,
Um,
Kathleen from the group.
what'd you say?
Her name was Kathleen Connor,
Catherine something,
Kathleen
man. She just
something.
passed away,
Yeah.
like I think like a year, maybe a year or two ago. One of them ladies just passed away like a year or two ago.
Okay.
I forgot the name of the
Yeah.
movie, but I know that
Hidden
was
Figures.
Taraji in it
Hidden
and old
Figures.
girl.
Yes, it was
Hidden Figures,
Yes.
one
Hidden
of the best
Figures.
Hidden
movies out there.
Figures.
Hidden Figures. I'm
Yeah,
sorry, that's
Hidden
the name of the
Figures.
movie. You can just start right there and go.
Okay.
And they made it. They let them astronauts get up in space using their mathematics. So right there, boom.
STEM. STEM, STEM, STEM. All right, Tony D, what's the word of encouragement to leave our
Yeah.
listeners and viewers? What you say?
Believe.
Believe. Okay.
I mean,
Can you
believe.
elaborate?
Just believe in what. Yeah, believe. Yeah. If you got dreams, you got aspirations, you know what you want to do. Believe that you can do it and move forward. You don't always have to say what you're going to do and what your plan is out loud. As long as you believe in yourself and you believe that it's what you're meant to do, then move forward to accomplish it.
Okay. I love that. Okay. All right. March
Me,
Madness or con?
invest in yourself.
Ooh.
Um,
Mm.
I've been looking
Ooh,
for
yes.
I've been looking for a morning job because my actual professional career, but and I've realized that I haven't invested in myself. Like today, I went to Gordon Food, right, and I have
Okay.
an LLC, and I see people coming in there and buying food for the business all the time. I'm like, I have an LLC, I have a business, so they signed me up for a business account. I'm like, that was the first time I actually you like got anything to do with the business. I was like, okay. So I'm like, and it was an easy process. And I went to the bank and I got business accounts. I was like, okay. In the midst of like
Okay.
looking for, I'm like, okay. So I'm investing in myself and I felt better. I'm like, okay, what now? I'm like, okay. Yeah, once I get back in my normal range, I can slowly start to invest in that business that I have slowly, and that's the most important thing is. And a reason why I said because I love Warren Buffett is one of the most classic, polite, and really quiet billionaires out there that most people don't talk about, right? You got
Right.
Bill Gates that's everywhere. You got Jeff Bezos everywhere, but you got Facebook guy Mark, but Warren Buffett, it's like, oh, he's still living the same.
He
I'm
still
sure he
lives in
has
the same house that he
I just
bought back in the 80s.
modesty. So those two things: be modest and invest in yourself. And I'm like,
Mm.
this man, this man
Okay.
has a share with Bank of America,
Okay.
Amazon. He has a share with Amazon. So if his company actually on Amazon, like maybe 16 or 17%. I was like, wow. So yeah, invest in yourself, and once you get something coming up, start looking at small businesses. I'm like, what small business needs to be rescued? Start to invest in that. If you see something, if you go somewhere, invest in your community. That's another thing too. Invest in yourself and invest in your community. Once you do that, good things will come. Then the belief aspects will come. Yes. So invest, invest, invest.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
And for me, my word of encouragement is I went to it's called WIN. It's in Clark County. It's called Women's Issues Network. It is, they had their 1923 centennial legislation. So a social justice legislation. There was three uh, legislators. And the one always stands out to me. She's my shero. She's someone that I've always loved, even when I didn't know too much about politics, was Congresswoman Joyce Beatty. So she's always has a word of encouragement, but it's built into a story. And so she left at the very end of her speech was people listen to stories. So sometimes we all, and that kind of goes back to me, like when I think about mental health, and we were never told to we were never allowed to share our story. And so here we are, 2023. When I think about my business, and I kind of touched on that, is that my business is where it's at is because I shared my story. And so when she said that to me, it resonated to me. Tell your story, share it. Don't be afraid, especially for our young adults. Don't be afraid to share your story because there's someone that needs to hear it. And sometimes our family, friends, and things, we don't really understand when you do share because it wasn't told to us. It wasn't taught to us to share. And so it just kind of resonated with me when you talk about women's history. There's an article out talking about women's in entrepreneurship and women in business is really soaring. And again, know why? It's because women are starting to tell their story of all races, all nationalities, all ethnicities. We're sharing a story. We're sharing about what has happened to us and how we've overcome it, how we triumph. And it's also making men kind of stand up and understand their women, their wives, their significant others even more better than ever before because we shared our stories. We're not silent. So I think now we're coming into a place we share where relationships, no matter what people think, are getting more. I think COVID was another way of sharing that story when you had to sit and you had to listen to your partner and vice versa. It's again, that was just my word of encouragement of people listen to stories. They share your story. Share your story. Don't be afraid to share it because you never know. Like my organization is out of a story, a straight story, a real story of how it changed our life. And here we are, able to share that with others who are experiencing uh, those same incidents of bullying and suicide uh, and looking for encouragement and hope and support and advocacy. So we're going to wrap it up because it's time to get the 10 o'clock games are kicking off.
Is
Bookie
Ocon
Troy,
still on? Is
huh?
Ocon still on?
What'd you say?
Yeah, I'm still on. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Ocon, I got some
Yes,
more
sir.
women's history for you.
Here we go.
What's up, Troy?
I got some black women's
Break
history.
it
Do
down.
you know who is the only woman to win multiple championships in the NCAA championship?
Why did you do that?
Black woman?
Yeah.
Um, is it Cher? No, Cher Miller.
What is
Not okay. It's not Maya Moore. Someone on the Yukon team.
Nope.
Maybe not.
The only black woman to win multiple championships
In college.
as a coach.
as a coach?
Oh, Don. I can't stand you.
With that being said, we're going to sign off the Boogie Troy. March Madness Con. Keep us posted on the breaking news. Tony D, you already know. We had some fun. We was on hiatus. I said we was off for 2 weeks. Glad to be back. We're going to talk about Aaron Rodgers next week, Tony D. So get ready because R. Kells and Pepper Dog will be back. Because we got to talk about this baby daddy. We're going to get these shenanigans news. So,
Nah, hey, Aaron Rodgers is baby boy. He
baby
the baby
boy.
boy in the NFL. He Tyrese right now. Aaron Rodgers is baby boy for real. That's what we're gonna call Aaron Rodgers. We can't call him Aaron Rodgers no more. His name is baby boy.
Baby boy.
So
Baby boy.
if you call him baby boy now,
Baby boy.
now
Okay.
if you call
Who's lead analyst next week?
Tony D. It's
Tanya?
all on you.
Oh,
Tony
okay.
D, it's on you.
I'm up.
You up.
Okay,
You up. Up.
And
You
lead
up.
it off with baby
No.
boy.
Real quick, when you was talking about, people sharing, like when I talk about what the girls do and I mentioned the fashion show, and I do I do share the organization. And there have been times I've wanted to share your story, but I didn't know exactly how you felt about that. So I really wouldn't because I'm not sure.
Share your story. It's public knowledge.
Your story.
Share my story. Share our story. That's what I mean.
Okay.
That's what
But
has healed
also,
Janiyah. I tell people share my story because it's a triumph. When we started this organization, we didn't know where it was going to lead, but I can tell you where it leads. My daughter's getting ready to graduate May 13th of 2023 after being severely bullied by over 20 plus kids where we had to pull my daughter out of school, out of Lincoln Heights. She had to go to ECOP. She still walked and got her high school diploma. Even through all the setbacks, she went to Ghana for 2 years through depression, thinking that she could never, have a school, an alumni that was her. My baby, I watched my baby yesterday in the middle of a career internship fair just thrive. And that's when I said again, the things that I'm doing is a purpose and a passion because I'm watching my daughter thrive in a place where most of our children who are even young adults who have been bullied, they don't have support. Know why? Because they're afraid to share that story because of what
Right.
family's going to say, what other people are going to say. And I did. I had to go through all that, and I share. And I, when people ask me, "Are you afraid?" No, I'm no longer afraid because I'm about to get ready to watch my daughter. My daughter has an alumni, a school that she can call her own, where she never thought that she was going to have a school of her own. And I said, "I'll be your voice. I will be your voice." So they say, be the voice of the voiceless. That's what my daughter was because she could never be. She never could share. And now my daughter is now a social worker, teacher, and she's sharing with other students that was never thought we could ever, she ever thought she could even get to that place. And she wants to do suicide prevention because we shared her story. Was it long?
Oh,
Did people believe in us? Nope. But we kept sharing the story because once one people hear it, it's relatable. It's every day that bullying happens in our
yeah.
classrooms at the age of 5, all the way up to young adults, up to grown adults coming into their
Mhm.
work and shooting up everybody. And when they pull back the layer, they were bullied as a kid and they just snapped. So I want to share. So when
Yeah.
people ask, share. That's why I said Congresswoman, when she said it, she don't even
Okay.
understand how it resonated back with me. People listen to stories and they do, and they find comfort and they find a reason
Yeah.
to hope for better days. And there is a process in anything you do to get a resolution. But when you share that story, you become a voice for someone who is still afraid to share. And that's what I do for you, for
Yeah.
others, for families that call me every day. I share. Some of the families that
Tanya,
right now,
Okay.
Tanya, you should take it. You should take it further. You should know. You know what you should do. You should write a book about the whole process
Ooh.
with Janaya and her whole
Yeah.
process, everything. Because I know.
yeah,
You need this. That's something that you need to put down on pages to help other people.
yeah.
Oh,
Because you know,
Because
absolutely.
and when
so
I've helped Tanisha, like, people,
you,
when I come across people like, we're going to sign off, but when I come across people that say, oh, you built your business off of people that like constituents. No, I'm building a business because I know what it looked like every stage
Oh,
of,
excuse me.
of
Mm.
bullying. And until you get to that space where you have no more room to live on this earth. And that's when students, you're not weak. You're not, oh, they're weak. They're sorry. They're going to fight. No, there was 20 plus kids, plus
Right.
100 more on social media. These bullying is relentless. It doesn't go away. Kids are in school every day where traumatic, being in traumatic experiences every day, incidents every day. And teachers don't even know how to deal with it because it's been taught to say, it's been embedded. Oh, it's kids play, it'll go away. This is a whole new form of cracking that doesn't go away. When you were getting cracked on that school, it was isolated and you went home. Now
you should
you
run.
take a phone with you,
Yeah.
and your kid might not even have a phone, but they do. Their friends do, and it's
Right.
relentless and it never
Right.
goes away. So your kid might not see it, but when they come to school the next day, they're embedded with all these images they're talked about because it's from 5 to 6 different people, 8 people. Think about how many followers you got, how many followers I got that see these posts. It's mental anguish that will ensue any kid, even a young adults. That's why these young adults go in these rooms and these classrooms and they shoot up everybody, is because they have said, I'm over. And then they take their life. And then you go and they ask these same teachers, well, I saw it, but you didn't do anything about it. So you were still a bystander. And so in that
Right.
space, I say
I know
share.
I was
And
talking.
Troy, I've always thought about that, but I've always been like, it would be like, how do I put it? Because it is. We
Well,
walk through the stages.
your subject. You already have the subject. Your
Yeah.
subject is your child.
Yeah.
All
My
you got
child.
to do is sit down and talk to her
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and talk to somebody that can edit it and can write it and stuff like that. You don't have to just put everything down from what you've already experienced,
Yeah.
and you can help other people.
And that's what helps
Just
other
going
people.
through your
You
thing.
know, I tell everybody I'm not a doctor because I will, I tell people if you are in a space, go get mental health. That's another thing. We talked about that a couple of weeks ago. Go get checked. Go find a psychiatrist. You have to be. Even as a kid, they need someone to talk to get those feelings out and learn how to compact them in the positive manner. Because when you go to school every day and you have been then cracked on, disrespected from teachers, letting it grind. You have no faith in no school system. So then you decide, I don't want to be in school. And then once you start not wanting to be in school, grades drop. Then you don't want to eat. Then you don't want to go to school. Then it becomes a task for your parents to get you to go to work. Now my parents is missing work. It's a whole 9 yards of things that are happening until that child speaks out loud. I want to commit suicide. And that when I first, and I didn't believe it, like to wrap it up, I didn't believe it. And I knew what's happening until I saw the semicolon on the back of her neck. That's when I knew at that moment that I had to become the voice, because that's when I knew it was real. And that was a year later. And I was all the way in New Orleans at the expo when she sent me a picture of that tattoo. And I broke down literally on the freeway, on the highest freeway of it all in New Orleans. I was engulfed in sobbing when I realized that was real, of how close my child was getting ready to walk off this earth when I saw that semicolon on her behind her ear. And it means that I paused. That means I didn't take my life. I paused my life. It just, man. So tell the story, share the story, because that's what it's for. And that's why we're here. I'm here for passion. I'm here because your child, when you talk to a parent who's lost their child from suicide, it will bring a whole different perspective than you. It's better than getting shot by a gun when you lose your child, because that means there was a thought that had to be put in to commit suicide. There's a thought process, and they go through a process. So that's why I said it's a mental, emotional piece. Don't play with it. You better not play with it, because you will look around and your child will be walked off this earth. And once they try it, then the conversation's already embedded. So now they want to look for other ways to do it. And these are young adults, even 40, 45, have done it, because it's been mental. It becomes a part of your life, a part of your space. So to see what my daughter has been through, and teachers didn't believe her, no one believed her, and she had to leave a school that she's been in since she was second grade. And to see my daughter now going to have an alumni that she's going to call her own, and to talk to her teachers and her professors and her counselors, man, it was an amazing day yesterday. And again, Troy, like you said, it just brought back to that day it happened, that everything that I do out here in the community, it was to save my daughter and to save others. So
that's redemption, man.
yeah, of us just
You need to put that
believing.
down, man. I'm dead serious. You need to put that down on paper, man. Write a book about it. Help other people.
And that's what I do at my classroom every day. And I want to do a show and bring some mental, I want to do a show where, kids have an opening space. And that's why we do the fashion show. That's why we started the Epic Kids. So you don't see us as much in a lot of community events, because we went and we launched Epic Kids Academy. And the academy was where we was to build a relationship. We're about building relationships with these kids, because at the time that they come to us, or even kids who've ever been bullied, they've seen it. They have mental scars too, because they're watching it happen and no one's helping them. And then they're afraid to speak up, because then, like my daughter, it happened to her. She just spoke up for a friend, and it ended up impacting her whole entire life. And she wasn't even the person being bullied. It was her friend. And the day she spoke up was the day it impacted my daughter's life. So
come call your dad.
It's just a different space. And so when, things that happen, and I don't kind of speak on things that people say out here, but I will say is that Empower You Foundation is a voice for the voiceless. And I will continue to share parent stories. I will continue to share students and young adults, and even adults have came to us. And yes, everything we do is anonymous. So people ask, but you don't got data? No, this ain't about data. This is about real lives, saving real lives. And what we can't do, we will get you in contact with someone that will provide you those resources and help. Because that's what bullying is still taboo. It's $1 billion bill. It's just like, heart attacks and cancer. There's not so much of a cure, but it's a story that needs to be shared and talked about. And that's why I do the running. I'm the leg horse, the workhorse, call it what you want, but you always here and there. You got to be in different spaces that people think is for show. No, I'm in those spaces because I need somebody to hear, because laws are made. Laws need to be changed. Laws are still continuing to be thinking about physical bullying. We've already experienced it. It's not physical bullying.
Right.
By the time you get touched or even get hurt, you way past that. It's emotional and verbal. Why can't the standards be for, and we talked about this, why can't the standards for someone at your job be the same standards for a kid in school? Because if somebody was bullying you at work, you gonna get fired. So why can't that same ensue? And you putting kids in the same room with each other. And when you're talking about bullying, you want to do safety plans. And when the person that is being bullied becomes like they're a part of their own bullying, it's a lot of mess that principals are allowing to happen, administrators are allowing to happen, constituents are allowing to happen. When somebody tells me, a constituent told me, bullying has happened, I don't know. Are you serious? Are you serious?
He just don't want to know.
You don't want what? What you mean? Are y'all serious? It's happening every single day. I get phone calls every single day. Not just in Columbus, across the United States, asking for help. I heard your story. Could you please just give me some hope? Sometimes they just want to talk. They don't even know where to go. It ain't no more cussing out your principal. Ain't no more cussing out your teacher, because your child about to get expelled from school because they didn't retaliate it. And when you pull back the layer, your child was bullied when they finally share with their parents. And that's why I'm gonna leave with you. 90 days is the timeline before you find out that your daughter, son, or young adult, even in college, has been bullied. It's 90 days. By the time 90 days come, they have been impacted over 2,000 times. When I say 2,000 times, I'm talking about incidents, from verbal confrontations to them sometimes physically. But if you think about 8 hours a day in school, 6 hours and 6.5 hours a day times 5, that's 30 hours that your child spends in school. Think about how many times they're taunted in a school building every day, and teachers are watching it every day. That's what I want people to understand, why I do what I do. Think about you. Have you ever been with a workplace bully and you like, I hate going to work. I hate my boss. So think about your child in the classroom with 25 plus kids. See, at least when we at work, we're in our own little work cubicle. Think about a kid, 25 plus kids in a classroom, and they're being taunted every day by the same kids. Then they go get other kids. Then I go to the next classroom and you taunt me some more. Then I go into the hallway and get taunted because now somebody didn't share the post about me, what happened in the classroom. So by the time I walk out of my classroom, even in elementary school, everybody know. But you want me to be silent? Absolutely not. I won't. I can't. Because every time I see my daughter, that gives me hope. So have a wonderful weekend. I love you. But, I just hope and pray that bullying becomes a taboo word that we never have to talk about. But until then, we got to save our children. We got to think about what our kids endure. And I'm a teacher every day, so that's why I can say what I say. These kids are enduring traumatic experiences every day in these classrooms, and no one's doing anything about it. So I fight for the voiceless, and I fight for my youth, especially my babies in elementary, kindergarten to the 7th, 8th grade. It is relentless what they go through. And parents think it's a joke. So have a wonderful weekend. March Madness is on. Support us. Donate to us. www.empowerourYouth Foundation. We are small business owners, 70% self-funded, 30% sponsorship donation. It's public knowledge. So please, $5, $1. If 100 people gave me $1, that's $100. If 100 people gave us $5, that's $500. We're doing a Krispy Kreme donut fundraiser. It's till March 26th. It's March Madness. Go buy some donuts. It's $12 a box. $12 a box. That's it. And we make 33% off of it. We're here till March 31st. Please donate to us. That keeps us programming running. It keeps the events that we do for free. It gives our families opportunities to learn and get resources and wraparound services. So please donate to us. I'll put it in the chat at the end of this replay. And then again, if you want to make sure that you watch us, again, this is On the Move with Sports Kells Media. We self-funded also. We're just a media independent outlet talking sports from a fan's perspective. That's what we do. We love what we do. Talk trash, we debate. That's what On the Move with Sports Kells Media is, a family. So love you, peace, and have a wonderful weekend. Bundle up because it's going to be a cold one this week. I can't believe it.
So
See you later.
At 8:30.